There it goes.
Why is it at 23
It just,
something?
I'd like to call the meeting of the Harwich Cemetery Commission to order on December 14th at 9 o'clock. We have to approve the minutes from October 5th and November 8th. Only Cindy and Robert can do the November 8th meeting.
oops, on October 5th.
October 5th. Yeah, I'll move that we approve these minutes.
Steve, a second.
I second. And November 8th, meeting is just Cindy and
Yeah,
Robert.
So I move that we approve those minutes.
yep, second.
All approved.
And perfect.
Now we get an email from the water department.
So at the last meeting, you guys all know that we had a overage on the water, which Jim found, initially, and went and told, called the water department to shut it off, right, Jim?
Correct.
Yeah. So I had to go before the water commissioners. I did an average of how much money we have spent over the last 4 years, showed them the repair that was made, and they did give us an abatement, which is,
It's on this page here.
yes. So if you go down far enough, you'll find it, and it just states that they're giving us abatement for $1,223.12, and we have to pay $482.66, and I consider that a success. So
Well, it was pretty much in line with.
yeah. So that's good. So
So what was that number? I got 1,300.
I know, but they
Thank you.
added to get the different rates. So I did last year's
it?
rate. I miscalculated. So they calculated it at the meeting while I was there and said that I should have used a different calculation because the rate has increased.
It's just water.
Well, thanks for getting that done. I mean, it was,
Yeah.
that could have gone either way.
Yeah,
I think it went the right way.
I was pleasantly surprised that it went our way.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
the water went back into the ground, not into the atmosphere, so
Correct.
it's like a
So-
recycle.
We can talk about a couple quick things, but then we'll probably want to take Jim kind of out of order so he can
That's-
go back and
was
freeze,
my
unless
next
he wants to stay here for the whole
Whatever you,
meeting. I
whatever
mean,
you
it's
I can
very
do for
cold
you.
out there, so.
At least it's warm in here.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
So the next item was the Village Green Restoration Project, which they did, I thought, an exceptional job. But, well, Jim's here, we can ask him a few questions. So the project is finished. That being said, and this is the extensive materials that has been scanned in. And I'm gonna try to, it's in a PDF format, so I can put it on the website so that if somebody wanted to go, whose family members are in this cemetery in those stone that couldn't be read before, wants to look at the information, they'll be able to do that. So this is the book that was completed. That being said, the fence that surrounds the cemetery is in pretty rough shape. So it has a split rail fence,
Correct.
which is
Does it have pipes
extremely
somewhere?
old.
It has pipe on the backside, right?
Some of it has pipes, but we
Yeah, on the
already
backside.
tried to do a CPC article for that before and they denied it. We can try to do it, try to do one again, I think, now that they realize the historic significance of that cemetery, maybe that'll allow us to. But I mean, we have to put them in October, so it wasn't put in. But it's the split rail fence that's now around the parking lot. That protects the stones. Well, really doesn't protect them, but at least
It'll slow somebody.
people see it and they won't drive into the stones. They're in pretty rough shape, so I didn't know if we should fix it or write a letter to the church asking if they wanted to fix it. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I don't know if they have the funds to fix it. I also have 5 Eagle Scouts that need to do projects. Two of them are already signed up. One is doing an Eagle Scout project in Hawk's Nest. The other one is going to do Smith Cemetery, but they have, I think there's 3 or 4 other ones that are going to be looking to do projects. So I don't know what the board feels we should do about the fence.
It's the money. Estimate to fix the pipe fence?
It's not the pipe fence, it's the
Split rail.
Split
Just on the
rail.
parking lot.
Like
Yeah.
you just said,
No, in the back, in the split rail one, we would have to probably do the CPC article for that. If we
Pipe
wanted,
one.
the pipe one. That's expensive.
right, and we don't, with the Walk of Remembrance coming, I don't
Right.
wanna shoot all our ammo at
Correct,
expensive piping.
right.
Yeah, I think we should replace it. Certainly let the Boy Scouts do it.
Yeah.
An Eagle project,
That replace all the fencing.
So the split rail.
all the split rail fence, yeah.
So if we do that, I can either do one of 2 things. I can put it together as a AmeriCorps project, which they just asked us, and which is also in our agenda, to submit some more AmeriCorps projects. Me and Jim have been brainstorming about what other little items they could do. There's a couple of things in Island Pond that we're gonna have them do. And so do you think the fence should be AmeriCorps, or do you think it should be Eagle Scout?
Eagle Scout.
It's long.
It's big.
It's-
Do you supervise?
No, not the scouts, no.
That's
Can they do it
that's
together?
a long run.
Yeah, it is pretty
Say,
big.
You're 17-year-old, knock yourself
Yeah,
out.
So, I mean, if we had AmeriCorps do it, they'd have like 4 or 5 people come and do it. And they could hammer it out in like a half a day, probably.
Is there a way they could work together?
I don't think so. No. So if it's an Eagle Scout project, they have to like
Do the whole thing?
do the whole thing,
Sure.
which is kind of, I think it's a very large area to ask one person.
May I throw out a few comments
Yeah.
regarding this? As long as I've been here, that fence, it's always been kind of a gray area. I've only probably replaced a couple of the cross pieces, a couple.
Right.
Sometimes the church maintenance man or whoever works there, he does it. Most of the damage occurs from snowplow damage and from people leaving church and backing their cars through it.
Right.
And that's the reality of it.
But it's really old.
It's very old
Very
with a
old.
few updated
Right.
pieces, by updated maybe 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, my concern, I just want you all to be aware of it, is you can have, I don't know who's technically responsible, that's never been made clear to me, who's responsible for the fence.
So the thing is that we are responsible
Okay.
for the cemetery.
Yeah,
I don't know about, I would assume the fence is protecting the cemetery, so I would assume,
I just want you all to know that
yeah,
it's a high probability that a nice, beautiful fence will be run over by the end of the winter.
right.
And we'll be revisiting it. So again, I just wanted you to be clear, that's what we find, that's what Pete and myself find when we go in there. After a Sunday service, someone miscalculates and there you go. Just so you guys are all aware, that's why I know it's a big
Yeah.
expense. I don't know how to move forward with it.
Well,
But it
maybe
does need a
this,
fence though.
Yeah, but split rail doesn't really stop much. Realistically, I mean,
maybe
There's less
this needs,
damage to their car,
It
maybe.
needs to be
but-
another
right.
agenda item.
right, I don't know, I just thought you guys would wanna know that little tidbit about it.
I think the church should be invited either to
Okay.
this meeting or we get invited to they must have a board,
Yeah,
you know, an elder board or something, and there's gotta be some joint ownership. You know,
okay.
I mean, I'm not gonna say, hey, Methodist Church, you owe us $250 because one of your
Right.
attendees backed into our fence, you know?
Right.
But why can't we just all work together
Right.
on this and get them on board and take some
So if
ownership,
we put,
even though we have to
Right.
take care of it?
Okay,
so if we put the fence on next month's, we'll see if someone from there can
Can we
come
get
see
somebody
us.
here?
I
Do you
can,
know somebody there?
well, Cindy, isn't that do you go there? No,
It sort of is.
yeah. So we could find somebody.
Sort of is
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, I mean, they must have a
do.
board,
They
so
do.
whoever is acting chairman, it'd be nice if
Okay.
they could come.
Sure. Okay.
Is there a better type of fence to put there?
I think, well, obviously a more protective fence, like what is the traditional style around town would be the granite posts and metal rails, but that's a huge
That's
expense.
huge. We don't have
But
the
that's a
money.
huge expense, but
Yeah.
on the flip side, how many, thousands of dollars or whatever was just spent to redo the stones, and one
Yeah.
Honda Civic will take out a stone that's 200 years old
Yeah.
too. Again,
Right.
I just
At least
want
there was
you,
probably some mutual damage there.
yeah, I just want you guys
The
to
only,
be
the
aware of
only
what we
other,
find.
the only other
Yeah.
thing we
Oh, yeah.
could think of is relocating some of the granite posts that are in the back of the cemetery to the area that's mostly the area that gets damaged.
There are definitely more high-profile areas that seem to be the bullseye.
Yeah,
Do we have access to those, I call them air dam destroyers? You know, those little concrete things in parking lots that stop the car?
Like the yellow posts that like
No,
the,
no, the little, like
Oh,
the 6
those,
or 8
yeah.
inch high, that if your car's too low, it just rips the air dam off the front of your car as you go over the top of it.
I mean, I don't know that we have ever had those in stock.
Mm.
But I
Wonder-
mean, obviously they come from somewhere.
But
You
something
know.
like that would maybe slow the car down or say,
Right.
hey, you're about to hit the fence.
You may get backlash from not that we get a lot of
Yeah.
snow, but a snowplow driver
Oh, sure,
that'll
yeah.
rip his plow off or damage it
Yeah,
too.
we don't
So
want that.
there's a lot of factors in here I just want you to consider,
Yep.
with whatever avenue you take. The stones need protection, and
Right.
it does look nice.
So then maybe by next month, we should get a hold of the fence person and see how much, or whoever does that, how
Yeah.
much it would cost to move some of the metal piping, fencing, and put it
it's
on
the granite,
the granite
yeah,
posts,
the heavy granite post
and how much a whole wood one is.
relocation
Yeah.
Get some cops.
and galvanized pipe.
Because we don't have any extra of those posts laying anywhere.
We've been using them as they get broken
Yeah.
or whatever. There may be a handful spread around, but we don't have like.
But on
a
the back of
pile.
that fence line, I mean, it's only protecting, literally, I think we could put up a regular fence.
Yeah,
To,
maybe we
it's
have to
only
put
to
a
the
split rail across
neighbors,
the
and
back.
then
Probably.
put the real granite ones
Problem.
to protect the stones.
Right, that's an option. It's, labor
know what I mean?
intensive, but.
It is labor intensive, but I
yeah.
think it'd be cheaper than purchasing them. I mean,
Yeah.
they just have to move them.
Right.
Yeah, I would get prices on that. We can visit that
Okay.
on the next.
I'll put it on the next,
And see if they send somebody over.
yeah. Okay, perfect.
Okay, and we'll take Jim out of order, or was he in order?
I'm
Was in
never,
order?
I'm never,
Jim's out of order.
all the time.
Welcome.
Well, there's quite a few things we want to talk to him about, but.
That's okay.
One is, the hardscape for the Veterans Memorial Circle, the dog walking signs.
All right, one at a time. So-
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, should we just come back to these ones on the top and just clip to old business?
Yeah,
Because
well-
he's pretty much in a lot of the old business ones.
Still on tape, we're just out of order because we
Yeah,
didn't.
we're out
Yeah.
of order because, so Jim can get back to
Right.
Okay,
doing his job out in the cold, I guess.
yeah.
Still chilly.
It is, yeah.
It's not terrible.
No, not yet.
Veterans Memorial Circle hardscape.
So that is the old business A,
Yep.
Yeah,
for those home gamers following along. So we talked about it at the ceremony, or prepping for the ceremony, and actually, I think it was your concern that some inattentive driver could
Take out
take out an
the,
expensive flagpole before
Yes.
they
Right.
realized what they were doing. Either, I mean, you can pick your scenario.
yeah,
At your recommendation, I checked out, the 39 circle, Sisson Road and Queen Anne,
Right.
right there. I mean, that's doable, it's just how,
it has curbing, right?
yeah, it has.
it's kind of ramped. They designed it so like tractor
Yeah,
trailers can
there's
go
like a
around.
concrete apron.
Yes,
And then a curb,
then a curb, an actual
and
curb.
then grab, but that, we don't need the rest of it.
Right.
Right.
So it's just something to,
Slow somebody down.
Right.
yeah, I mean, and we almost wouldn't have to do the entire circle. We would just need to do
Where the
Funnel.
roads, yeah,
where, so you would have the approach
Mm-hmm.
as an arc, and then coming the other direction, an arc, and then you'd have open space, so
You can walk in and out.
people can walk in and out. I mean, that could be decorated, nicely. I mean, the only problem is that the lead-in arc from 39, if you just, I mean, to save money, instead of doing a whole circle, do the arc. that's about where the exit point is to go to the Walk of Remembrance.
Right.
So you could go like right up to, I don't know, where we just deal with it that way.
Right.
It's more important, I think, to stop the cars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we could shift the entrance a little bit one way to line it up if we needed to.
So it's either we buy curbing, add that to the hardscape bill, Jersey barriers, claymores,
Yeah, spikes.
spikes, the airport, yeah.
Did they make a
there's-
low granite and pipe fence?
I think it's just something that, I mean, if they're going fast enough,
Oh, they're gonna take.
short
it
of a
anyway.
Jersey
Right,
barrier, they're
right.
going into the flagpoles and
They drive in all
So
the
what about a
stores.
speed bump?
speed bumps. Mess with the plow guys.
Speed bumps, I mean, they may or may not. I'm mostly concerned with the youth that decide that that's a good place to practice sliding and skidding and stuff like that. Not so
Been
much
there.
the unattended driver. That happens too, but speed bumps would potentially slow people down. There would also be a problem if there is any plowable snow, unless they're
What about the high school
removables.
type speed bumps? They're about
I
3
think
feet wide
they're
and
big.
6 inches
Yeah.
high, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't
like
know. I
speed
walk over them all the
tables or
time.
something.
I just,
yeah. I mean, it's an option. Again, who knows the future of what we get for snow here on Cape Cod,
Right.
but it would be something that could potentially be a hazard.
Because sometimes you go in there and you'll see all sorts of tire marks, like, they were.
oh, sure,
Yeah.
yeah. That's never gonna go away.
No.
Never, I mean.
But I
No.
mean, if the speed bumps were there, they couldn't really do what they,
Yeah, well, we could try that. I mean, a speed bump early enough.
It's not a bad idea. I don't oppose it.
to
It's
slow them
my
down.
only concern is any snow removal. That's
Yeah.
it. But that's so few and
Now,
far
we
between.
had, at the golf course, we had removable speed bumps.
Mm-hmm.
Because on the cart pass, they would go down the hill and see how fast you go in the golf cart.
Yeah.
And then you just gotta pull them up and you pull the pins out and set it
Yeah.
off the side and then decent weather, put
Oh,
them back
yeah.
down.
It's just something that I don't know if there's a perfect solution, but I just wanted to offer it up when we were out there.
yeah.
So the plow can't undulate over like the high school? I mean,
It can as long as the person. I mean, for the people who spend a fair amount of time in the cemeteries, that's okay. But sometimes you get someone who's go clean out the cemetery. There's a burial, and he's not a cemetery person, and he's not. Oh, why didn't
Could we
you-
and
flag
even
it
the little,
though?
even the opposing speed bump signs?
Well, then you start getting
Luminescent.
signs involved. I mean, I don't know how much you want to get involved with, speed bumps and signs and
Everything's
all
money
that.
to me. So it's
Well,
the
and-
lowest cost.
Right. I think I would prefer personally to protect the circle rather than a speed bump. That's just my
Oh,
opinion.
absolutely, absolutely.
But I think if we had speed bumps, they wouldn't be going as fast to go into the circle. And I think it'd be cheaper to put in speed bumps than it will be to put in curbing. Curbing is
Yeah,
expensive.
and my only concern is that,
And it's gotta be circular, which is not straight, which is gonna be even more expensive.
so pick your scenario. If you have, I mean, if you had a teen that's inattentive, I don't think they would be racing, working on their, their power slides and on their cell phone at the same time.
I would hope not, but
So,
You never know.
so what
You
I'm
never
saying
know.
is that if they're doing that, they're trying to make their vehicle do something.
Yeah.
So they're not gonna be inattentive where they go, oh,
Yeah.
gosh, here's a curbstone and boom into the flagpoles. I mean, at least the flagpoles are white, so they
Yeah.
kind of stand out.
No,
So now you
it's
pick
not.
the other end of the age spectrum and you have an age-related traffic issue.
we have both out there.
Absolutely. Is the curb gonna stop the car?
It'll make
The
it
curb
bounce.
does not stop the car driving into 7-Eleven.
Right.
Right.
Or any other shop.
Or,
I'm
yeah, or
just,
in a
you know,
restaurant. No, I
you picked the
understand.
you picked the wrong pedal, and I'm not picking on any group, I'm
Yeah.
just,
No,
I'm
no.
just trying to look at this from a OSHA standpoint.
Yeah.
you know?
You can only do so much, and you can overthink
Right,
it.
yeah.
And I just wanted you to be aware it's a concern of mine. It's a lot of money, and it's not even completed yet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And
the
if someone takes out
flagpoles.
those 2, 3, 4 flagpoles, she's not going to be very happy.
Well, they
one
are
thing-
insured.
The vehicle's insurance.
The vehicle's
should
insured,
cover
too.
that, or we'll make
Yeah.
sure it covers it.
Yeah. So,
What about posts? I mean, they
Yeah.
don't have to be terribly high, but some kind of post that, you know, on, like you say, on the way in,
Yeah.
where they might
I think
hit.
it's gonna it's gonna take away from the look of the,
That, you're gonna have benches there, correct?
we're
Aren't
gonna
there
have benches, yeah.
That's another factor I've been concerned with. Yeah, those will do a fair amount of damage to a car, but that's a fair amount of damage if one of them splits. Now you've taken your flagpole value and you add a bench to it that may be $15,000 or something ludicrous.
Yeah, they're
and
$5,000.
$5,000.
Still,
So
yeah. And
it is all money, and it is all a creative process you're trying to do.
I mean, the post could look nice if it was with a decorative heavy-duty chain, like some big memorials have, but that's gonna be wicked
Huge, crazy
expensive.
money.
Crazy money,
Yeah.
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 Well,
I mean, maybe something
every
you guys want to look
day that
at
we
it.
don't do something, it's a ticking time bomb, I think.
I know you could put a rim around of shrubs so it looks nice, but they're gonna go right through a shrub anyway.
Yeah.
They're either going through
I
a
think they're
shrub or
gonna-
they're gonna bounce over a
They're
curb.
gonna,
And
they're
that'll
gonna, they're gonna go
distract
through the
too.
curb too. I mean,
And that
if we
adds
put
to
up a
maintenance.
curb, they're going,
Oh,
they're going through it. Yeah, I mean, they have driven all the way into, even with the granite posts and rails, we had people drive through the North Harwich Cemetery 3 or 4
And
times.
that's a four-way
And they
stop.
went through granite posts, I mean,
Yeah.
so I mean,
Well, to me, the
if
compromise,
somebody's driving fast enough, they're going through.
the compromise is the removable speed bumps.
yeah, they're made out of rubber, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and those are,
I have no idea
those are
what the expense
instantaneously
I don't.
more, what's the word? When you hit that thing, it's different than hitting the high school speed bump.
Yeah,
The high school speed bump
they're
is,
a little
whoa.
steep bump.
Yeah, so you bump over those. And with inclement weather, I mean, what are they, 4 spikes in the ground with metal tubes?
Hey, it's worth a shot. I
Yeah.
mean, you don't know till you try. You
Right.
don't see a lot of them, so that tells me something.
And I'm
There's
not
a
sure
reason
where
that-
we got those from, but maybe you have access to.
I can inquire about, I mean, I don't think we have any in town that the town has purchased, but I'm not
And
sure.
on a public road, I'd hate to have them stolen, because we just interfered with the Harwich Center or East Harwich drag strip.
We'll have to get over that, because it's a cemetery, not a racetrack.
Well, yeah, oh, I agree, but if,
I think
if
they
they
lock,
can be,
I think they have a locking thing.
I don't know.
I don't know, that's also, I just know we had them at the golf course, and we just took big 10-inch spikes and tore them right down through the
Right,
carpet.
so again, since money, could we find out
Cost.
Prices on
three
those.
methods? High school speed bumps, the removable speed bumps, which are more plow friendly with advance notice. Bad forecasts, you know,
Yeah.
need to get the guys
Just go pull 'em.
to pop them. And
Kirby.
curbing. And if we know the curbing by the foot, Robin, then we can compare it to just doing 2 arcs.
How high would you put the curbing up?
Well, I would go as big as they make. I mean, if you're gonna buy granite,
Well, they're like this when they put them in the ground.
They
You only
are?
see about that much of it.
Yeah,
well,
because
then can't we adjust that, or is there?
Well,
you have
the
to have
kind
it so far?
the kind that you speak of, the air dam wreckers, those just lay on top, but the actual curbings go down.
Yeah,
I don't know the dimension, maybe a foot, 10 inches, 16
well,
inches.
yeah, maybe add
Those
Yeah.
get dug in.
actually, the curbing things won't look good, the air dam version that I
Yeah.
brought up. Cause they're not gonna fit right.
Right.
So they wouldn't be an arc. I think it would detract from, I mean, picture them, you see them in parking lots all the
Yeah.
time. So put them on edge and try and go around a circle with them, it'll just
Yeah.
look tacky.
Well, they do make curved ones. They're just gonna be so expensive.
Well, it's just something I want you guys to consider.
Yeah.
This is a multi-year process.
Yeah.
To get this, you want it to look right, but you also
Yeah.
don't want it taken out, if you can prevent it
Yeah.
from being taken out by someone.
So
All
get
right.
the price on the different ones, and we can either do a combination of one, or a combination of a couple.
Yeah. All right, I'll look into that.
Maybe if you had some shrubs on the corner, just give a visual height so they see something taller in front of them other than the
Well,
white
and
flag
if you
poles.
do the arc version, you would just need enough to deflect the car and then put
Some
some,
shrubs on the end
some
or something.
trimmable shrub
Yeah.
that would look nice on each end of the arc.
And then we'll get
landscape
the
that in.
DPW a nice hedge trimmer, they can take care of it.
Is this what I want to do?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Comes to these meetings to make things easier, or we just start piling it
Pile
on.
stuff on them.
You can always put in the granite post and then hide them with shrubs.
That'll be a surprise when they hit that.
Yeah.
It's like the guy that made the big snowman around a tree stump because somebody kept driving and mowing over his the kid's snowman. And the guy built it around a tree stump. The car came in and just totaled the car.
I mean, usually it's good for one, maybe 2 times a year. Someone goes right through the hedges at Brooks Academy.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah,
I saw
that's a
that.
regular thing. And they used to have fencing there, I believe, and they got tired of replacing
Back,
it.
yeah.
So they just did hedges because it's easier to replace. You're not going to fix
Spike
the
strips,
inattentive
claymores.
driver
Yeah.
who's texting or drunk or whatever.
All they do is try to make it more obvious
Right,
of what he's
right.
doing.
No, I understand.
So then, the other thing was the dog sign. So, yeah, he did put up another sign. It's in the packet. I don't know if you guys saw it.
Back of Island Pond?
Yeah.
Where the trail comes up off of
Yeah.
the lower.
So that is installed. And there's a picture of it in here.
Is it any better at Evergreen? The dog situations over there, are they still?
The lack of dog droppings is better, but the dog presence has not changed.
Yeah, I drove by the other day and took a peek, and there they
There were
were
people walking
right down
around.
the road, and I'm like,
And I go in and
Stuff to
tell
do.
them all the time and they just,
Well, it's a safe place to walk. That's the sad part.
Correct.
You know?
And 95% of them pick up after their dog, and they're just happy to be off the sidewalks and in a pleasant spot. They're there for just good reasons. They're very polite. It's the other 5% that there is no sign in the
I'll
world
go on
that's
the
gonna make
record
them
saying
care.
I hate this policy that we can't bring our dogs into
Right.
into the cemetery.
And they're
But
not
it's
gonna-
because 5% don't pick up, or what I call the poop fairies, they
Yeah.
leave their little bags on the trail. I mean,
Right.
Cindy and I joke about it, it's like, oh, this is like an Easter egg hunt, oh, look, the poop fairy was here.
Right.
Uh,
yeah.
Like, who do they think? They think you guys are gonna go down the trail and
Oh,
pick it
yeah.
up. That's just, yeah,
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, Jim, did you have anything else that you want to discuss?
My only thing I wanted to convey to the commissioners is, I don't know if we've talked about it, Robin, I think I mentioned it, is I have some apprehensions moving forward with any maintenance issues that may come up with those flagpoles. What I mean by that is the porthole that has the screws that go
yeah.
in, that I've already run into it. That is going to be a problem with wintry weather because those screws are going to freeze. They're going to strip. If you use a torch to heat them, now you discolor the pole. When the flags have to come down, they have to come down. That's either from the governor, the president, or recently we had a storm coming. We took them all off because otherwise it will destroy the rigging, the flags, and what have you. And the problem with those is, I know the gentleman from Hamco, is it?
Yep.
He said that's the new style. And we are already, Jared, who helps me with the flags, he's actually in charge of the flags. I help him. We're already like grumbling over this is going to be a problem within the winter or next year. We prefer the old style. I don't know
Which
if
is?
they can be read. It's a key, just a key quarter turn, pull the plate out. But they said
These have screws in them?
these have screws in them. They're Allen head screws that go through
It's
a large
it's like a
plate.
star. It's like a
Yeah.
screwdriver with a star head.
Yeah. And they go in, and they're very time consuming because it's not a quarter turn. Here you go. It's like
Yeah.
7 times.
And you don't
Take
dare
7 screws out?
No, 7 poles.
and you don't dare put it on a drill.
Yeah.
You'll strip that head in a heartbeat. Yeah.
So I mean, we can run them as long as possible. Though where we'll get cranky is if we can't get into the flag poles and the flags need to come down. Then there may be backlash. There may be feedback from veterans who are like, "Why is that flag up? We can't get in." That's not a good excuse. I don't know if that's something you guys
So
are
the
going to run
ropes are all
into.
internal to the flagpole?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're tamper proof.
Can we take the screws out and put like never sees or some kind of anti-corrosive?
Well, you can do that for the threads, but I can't say that that'll prevent freezing and ice problems if you get snow buildup or, and they're brand new poles, so you don't want to do a Fred Flintstone on them and trip the ice away.
Can you ask
How
Hamco?
low are they?
Yeah.
Tell them
How
we're already
low
having
are
a
the
problem.
plates?
Plates.
Well, they're at like chest level.
Okay.
maybe a little lower.
And you gotta be careful if you do it, they're sharp on the inside, the metal is sharp.
I wonder if
We
there's
issued
some
a
kind of a
purple heart
white,
at the practice day.
a white rubber covering they can just go around that, 'cause it's just be a white band about that big or whatever it is.
Jared and I have talked over a couple, I mean, if it gets bad enough, we may have to remove them. You know what I mean? And then you're gonna just let water and snow get in there, which is not a,
That's not good either.
it's not good either. Obviously, the external cleats are my favorite, but that's a different style of flagpole.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just making you aware that so far so good, but the rope has been getting frozen. Even though it's an enclosed tube, the rope's been getting frozen, so it doesn't want to flow through the jockey wheels in there. So now you get it jammed and you have to tinker with it.
There's a cam inside,
yeah.
like a sailboat cam.
So warm weather, it seems to be fine, but once it gets ice crystals, the rope doesn't bend. So it's, you know what I mean? It's just something you guys should be aware of in case there you go in there and why are the flags at this level? Because we couldn't gain access to the poles to make the adjustment. It's become more regular. The flags need to be up or down, much more prominent these days than it was 10 years ago. It was only for specific cases, but now it changes a
Now they
lot.
change
I
it
would
for
check with
everybody.
AMCO just to see if they have something, if there's a covering they go around it, like, you know, the basketball poles, you put that padding on, maybe there's a white pad or something that not a big, ugly looking thing, but a
Yeah.
small thing just to keep the weather off. That's what you
Yeah.
want, is just the weather off of that.
It serves two purposes. It serves to keep them weather protected and also tamper proof. So far, we've never really had a tamper issue in the town, but that's not to say it won't change
Yeah.
the way the world changes. But and the weather aspect, but it doesn't stop like condensation and just
Yeah,
that
it's
freezes, and the
gonna
rope is a
condensate
big
anyway.
octopus of rope.
Unless we put little heaters in each one, so.
Yeah, yeah. So again, I just wanted to bring that up, just so you're aware of it. Everything's nice and shiny and new and looks good, but I don't know if there will be a problem moving down the line through the cold months. That's all.
We can check and see what they got for,
Okay.
Hey, maybe
what
they
their
have
ideas are.
the old style plate with the key in it, it's just a swap. We just have to pay for it, that's all. With any luck, same size hole, same size plate, just a different.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful. You know what I mean? If they made such a thing.
Yeah, when I saw the star thing, I was like, oh, this, stripped too many stars in my time.
Yeah, it's,
I do like them better than Phillips head screwdrivers.
Oh, absolutely. yeah.
absolutely. That they're better, but it just seems like every week we're in there because the flags are up, flags are off. You know what I mean?
I would check into that.
Oh, and then, before you leave, I want to also talk about the Bank Street cemetery sign. So the Bank Street sign is finished,
Okay.
and they want to install it. Did we say we're gonna put it right on the inside of the fence? Is that, I thought that's what the
That's right. I thought
discussion
it was
was.
gonna go either just
Yeah.
on the inside or just on the outside of it, either one.
What do you guys think? Because he's ready to move on it. He wants to do it on Monday. Or do you want to go down the,
I think we don't need to go down.
So,
I mean, we know what it looks like, but
Well, are we going over to Harding Rider?
we can? You want to go over there? Okay,
So we can just hit those two real quick. I
Okay.
think.
all right,
Cause that's just where would it look good?
okay.
it's gonna be mounted on a double
I took a
post.
ton of photos of the Harding Riding for you guys, if you want to just look at them, or we can go there. It's up to
it's
you.
cold.
Hmm?
We'll look at pictures first.
That was an
Don't you
easy
have a house in
decision.
New Hampshire or something? Stop.
I know.
Different cold.
Senior ATV.
Different
you
kind
know.
of cold.
Yeah.
Trouble is all your winter clothes are up there, they're not down here.
Yeah.
So you guys, the next thing is the Harding Rider, if we go back to the regular agenda items. Do you want to go to that? And I can pull up Jim could look at that as well.
Okay.
So the Harding Rider, so I'll stop.
Well, she's digging. Do you do anything with that cemetery at all?
Harding Rider?
Yeah.
I probably have a different name for it, because Harding
It's the
Rider
one
isn't
down
registering.
from the water tower on 39.
Oh, yeah, then I call that the one
Is this
across from the
Thompson?
Thompson's Field, that's what I.
The Thompson Field Cemetery?
Thompson Field
Yeah.
Cemetery, that's the one I call that.
Henceforth known as the Harding Rider Cemetery.
Okay,
Not much, knock the weeds down, around Memorial Day, if you see litter or fallen branch, that's the extent of it, it
And
doesn't
no
get any.
comments ever from the property.
No, surprisingly, no.
so it looks like they pretty much have their own, they have their property kind of like cornered off from this. It's kind of like totally separate, even though it's part of their property. In the cemetery itself, I mean, if you look at this photo right here, just has, it looks like maybe 5 rotted posts that are surround the cemetery, and then there's just one.
That photo?
Yeah,
Yes.
and there's only one stone in the middle. The house that owns it is actually to the left, not the one that
So
you
is
see
this
in the
picture here we're
photo.
looking at? So that's the cemetery there?
No.
That's the house?
No,
So then what is the
Cemetery-
purpose
Oh,
of
you
this?
cut this one up?
no, so Carly sent me this. So it's this lot,
Okay,
yeah.
so where is it in relationship to that?
Let me see,
It's east of the water tower, isn't it?
yeah.
Hang on, I gotta.
Okay, if you look at this one that says Skipper Shea Lane,
Okay,
the house is here, and then the cemetery lot is here.
okay.
So it's
So it's
in
right
the
on
very
137.
corner of the
It's
lot.
on
Do you have this
139 or
one?
whatever
Yeah.
they call that road.
Right off the road,
Yeah,
and it's very small, so
it's very small.
you would drive by it and probably didn't know it was there if you were the
Yeah.
average citizen.
I lived on a long road my whole life, and I didn't know there was a cemetery on Bank Street.
Yeah.
There you go.
So anyway, I think we should just, again, we can either have AmeriCorps do it, or,
That's a small enough project to be good for the Boy Scouts, wouldn't it?
Well,
I don't want them on that road.
I was just
I-
gonna say, I don't care who's on the road, it
Yeah,
needs
I
a
think,
police escort.
yeah, I think it's a very busy,
Yeah.
fast road, and that cemetery's right on the edge of the road. I just don't think that we should have a Boy Scout doing it, personally. And I don't think it's a big enough project for them, so at least when they're doing Hawk's Nest, he's doing a lot of research on the people who were buried in there, and it's big enough that he has a good-sized project. And for your Eagle Scout, you're supposed to have a minimum of 30 hours. And most of the people, I went to the Boy Scout banquet, which was 2 Thursdays, or was it last Thursday? And a lot of the people who presented their projects, some of them were like 200 hours long. I mean,
noteworthy.
they would not consider that an Eagle Scout project. I can tell you that right now. It needs to be more in depth.
Did
and
we
that's-
figure out who owns that little corner, which is not on this picture?
It's on this one.
You didn't get that.
Yeah, so who owns that?
The Carly sent me all the information. The cemetery is technically under our jurisdiction, and we have an easement over their property, so the people own the property.
So we have an easement,
Yeah.
okay.
So if we wanted to fence that in, then we'd have to have somebody get approval from them, put it on there, we just do that.
I think we can do the fence, we just have to notify them that we are gonna be enclosing it again. We just have to do a notice to the abutter.
We can tie that in with the AmeriCorps projects of the other, if we put the fence in the other cemetery and do that all at the same time, or it'd be two separate?
This one, they would probably do in between, so they have a lot of, AmeriCorps has a lot of projects, and then they finish early for the day, and they have like 3 hours left or whatever. They would just throw this on they wouldn't schedule this would just be put in when they could. Last time we bought all the fencing, we put it behind the DPW,
Yes.
and then we just called them and said, we're gonna be picking up X amount of fencing. So if we purchased all the fencing for the Hawk's Nest, the Smith Cemetery, and this cemetery, because we'll get a better price, because we're doing all of them, so we'll just have to figure out what we need. Then when we go to use them, we would just send them to pick it up there and install. And I don't think we're gonna be doing any of this in the wintertime. I
Bless
think-
you.
Well, I just think that the kids won't be digging in frozen ground.
Yeah.
That's the thing, you gotta dig these down pretty far to put in the posts, so, and I just don't think it's a project they would want to do till the spring.
We've all done projects we didn't wanna do too, so.
We have to put a sign.
That was the other thing,
Does that
so,
look visible?
Well, when I drive by it, there's a tree overhanging it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't really even see it. I mean, I'm looking for this place and
That's my
I had
gun.
cars behind me, so I couldn't stop. And then there you see the stone, and how far back from the road is it?
Not far. It's
Yeah,
not far.
Pretty close, but then there's this tree
Yeah.
and branch and,
I usually just pull my truck off the side of the road with all the lights going, and then I hop out and weed whack it or backpack blow it and hop right back in just so the truck's off the road. You're almost touching the woods line.
so you're thinking about doing a small sign for that?
well, I
We
mean,
signed everything else, you might as well put a sign on that.
yeah, I mean, well, there's a couple of things. First of all, it's standardizing all the cemeteries, and
Right.
we're acknowledging all the cemeteries.
Right,
It would not, you definitely, because of where it is, safety is paramount. You don't want people stopping and visiting. So
Right.
to me, if there's a fence, it needs to be like a no access except a secret access that you guys
Right.
know to walk to the back and you can go in with a weed whacker.
yeah,
I think it should be visible.
right,
So maybe the branch comes down or the tree comes down, I don't know.
Yeah, just trim it up.
And then just a small sign, probably, definitely smaller than Bank Street, because again, we don't want, I wouldn't want the
right,
cemetery tour groups to go, oh, we're gonna stop and see Harding Ryder's
Yeah.
gravesite, and now we have the police and the fire department involved.
Yeah.
Another thing just to be aware of, and this is not relevant to Bank Street, probably the only one that you would be familiar with that it is like the Queen Anne Cemetery, but it's set back. That being a major road, again, snowplow operations, that snow is going to wreak havoc with that sign coming off the
Oh,
big
yeah,
trucks.
right.
So,
yeah,
Oh, I would almost
Just-
put the sign
Inside.
behind the stone.
yeah,
yeah, something you want it set back
Yeah,
because
or in a corner, but,
yeah,
yeah.
you don't want to destroy, I don't know how
But
many.
if it's not that big, you can almost set it in the back of the back of it,
Yeah.
cause it's not that big of a lot.
Yeah, so something to protect the stone and just so that there it
Mhm.
is. And again, just like Bank Street, I don't want it to bother the property owner,
Right.
easement or not,
Mhm.
you know, just to be respectful.
right,
But I just feel, there's something I feel bad about, this 4 posts and this thing on the side
Yeah.
of the road. And it's like,
Now, are you planning to do different cemeteries, another similar sign on the Bell's Neck Cemetery? The one that,
no, Bell's,
that's
Bell's
the
Neck
Hawks
is
Neck.
a-
No,
Oh,
Bell's
Smith
Neck.
Cemetery, Smith
the Bell's
Cemetery.
Neck is gonna be, we're trying to get that with,
If we can hang it on
The
the same one as a conservation.
Conservation Committee.
Okay.
The HCT.
Okay.
We're gonna see if we can put something on there.
Okay.
You're right,
Right,
Just a small sign
Yeah.
hanging underneath it.
that one's set back a little bit.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, and maybe it doesn't
Cause
have
this
to
one
be
is
our.
right
I
up
think
against
you
the
guys
road.
are talking
Pretty
about
much.
Lothrop.
Pretty much.
Lothrop.
Yeah, so,
Which is it?
I'm talking about Bell's Neck. Not, Lothrop was on my mind too, the one
Lothrop.
that's way back in the
Yeah.
woods.
See, he agrees with me,
I
okay,
do.
It's
Bell- where's
Lothrop,
the-
not
Bell's
Lothrop.
Neck?
I'm sorry. She's kind of funny.
anyway, so the Smith
give that up,
Cemetery, I think we
You won't
should
give
do a
that up,
sign
will
for
you?
that one. I think we should do another small,
Cemetery,
that's
yeah.
the one that's in Bell's Neck, that's what he was talking about, a separate, smaller cemetery.
Coming off on North Road, I believe it is, or Mansion, or any of those, Smith Street.
Okay, so one cemetery at a time.
Okay, it's also on our list though.
Okay,
Okay, I was just curious.
so,
Is a cemetery on Bell's Neck?
see, that's why I think we just need to go take a peek at this. I know you took pictures, but.
Right. She'd have to draw it anyways, so what size would you want it? You would want it smaller than Bank Street.
Yeah, I would say small.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, I mean, you gotta,
Also
I mean,
one-sided,
it's gotta say Harding Ryder,
Right.
so that's big enough, and, you know, I can't remember do we put a date on it or something, you know?
well, Harding Ryder, we could have a date on it, cause we know when he was buried,
Right.
so we could say established and,
Yeah, established, and,
We just had a small
yeah.
kind of strip sign it, either
Yeah.
put on the fence or whatever.
Oh, yeah, there's that too. Except, yeah, the
So
snow,
it's not
snow and the,
so obvious.
they whack it though,
But
yeah.
if, well, put it on the backside. If it's gonna be fenced in around.
Mhm.
Put it on the
Yeah,
backside.
well, I
so
think
it's
the
farthest
fence, we
away
only
from the
really
road.
need 3 sides, right?
Yeah, I mean, whatever suits you for taste, really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
just a small one, I think would be good. Then it's not so obvious.
and,
Ask what their suggestion might be on what kind of a,
Could we just put this sign on could we do a metal sign, or we would wanna do a hand carved sign?
I'm all for consistency.
Okay,
I wouldn't mind having like if it was on 2 posts
Yeah.
and small,
yeah,
I wouldn't mind having a sign right below it that says private property. That may help to deter,
curiosity seekers.
yeah, I mean, can you imagine? You know, somebody that's into this and the history of Harwich and stuff, and they pull off they've never been here, and they pull off on Route 39 on July 5th. And try to get out and look, well, I want to see the cemetery.
okay.
So, all right, so where are we? Are we gonna go look at it first, or do we want to just do small sign and
I'd
3
just do a
sided
small
fence?
sign, probably three sides, or it doesn't even have to be the full side, you can just across the front, just down a little
Yeah.
bit, just
Or
Just a
across the
frame.
front and
and let it die
the
off.
angle kind. Half post or
And then it'll
whatever.
give
So
Jim
that's-
easy access to the backside to do whatever they gotta
Yeah.
do or whatever. Yeah. And
I-
even
I like
even
that.
the sides could, the front is
So this
like
is the front.
Yeah, so the front is
And then the
parallel to
sides, and
39.
then the side will
Yes.
be, and they'll just drop off to a low post like that. As they taper off.
It's more expensive to get them like that, than it is to just do it.
It's more expensive to put the half post in?
The half post and just
Okay.
have the 2 run together.
Yeah, you have to special order the smaller ones, then these all come, they're stock.
Special order, that's a chainsaw.
That's what I'm thinking.
You just
There you
wanna
go.
cut one in half?
Oh, that's what I would do.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you just have one post that comes
Jim,
from
you
the
wanna
top
put it in?
down.
I'm trying to help out our scouts.
Okay. No, our scouts are not doing this project. I'm not having them do that on that road.
Well-
It's too busy.
Well, regardless, whoever does this, I think we should put in for a police detail.
Yeah.
Hey, it's overtime for somebody.
There you go.
Always looking out for the blue line.
Okay.
All right, and then, are you adding
So I just
Bell's
wrote,
Neck?
do you wanna do Bell's Neck?
No, I don't know, where is it on the list?
So, I was just gonna talk about the Boy Scout projects. Do you want me to talk about those now?
Sure.
Okay. So we have 2 Eagle Scouts that are doing projects for the town. One is in Hawk's Nest, that's Thomas Chase. So he's already been out there and he has contacted his troop leader. Jim and Pete went out, and there was some trees that were overhanging.
Pete took care of, being the resident tree guru, Pete went and took care of overhanging branches, because I believe Robin indicated the scout was a little bit apprehensive to deal with any of that.
Something hanging overhead.
Hanging over him, so Pete took care of that. To the best of his assessment, I can't say whether come spring or whenever the scouts go out there, they won't want a little more done.
Yeah.
But for now, Pete cut it down, made it safe overhead, and stacked the wood, because it's all wild lands around it anyway. But that's gonna be quite an undertaking, that cemetery.
Yeah, so it needs a lot of work, so he'll be cleaning the whole cemetery up. And I gave him all the information of the lot layout. He's gonna redo the whole lot layout for us and put all the information, kinda like make a schematic for the cemetery. He is gonna give me a list of what he needs for materials for the fence. And he's very excited about this project. I gave him all the information about Ebenezer Eldridge. He is actually one of our Revolutionary War veterans who's very well indexed. He had a lot of documentation about his service for the town of Harwich and in his pension files. And I sent that off to him, and he was very excited about actually doing the project for him alone. So that one is pretty much all set and ready to go. So he is in the process of finishing that up. So that is Eagle Scout number 1. Eagle Scout number 2 is Dennis. I think it's Theoritis. We spell pronouncing it wrong, as you know I do. And well, that's their phone here. Anyway, so Dennis is looking at doing the Smith Cemetery. I gave him a couple options. He went down and took a peek at the Smith Cemetery. As you know, that one had a couple trees that kind of needed to go down in there too. And that has a few gravestones. This also has one of our soldiers in it as well, which is exciting. Samuel Swift, I think it's. Was enlisted from Harwich in 1778. So all of the information that we have, he'll do something similar. It's just a smaller project. But he would like to do a sign. So he'd like to design a sign or help us get a sign for the cemetery and then install that. Tom and Dennis, they're both great. They reached out to me several times and emailed me back and forth, and they're excited to do their projects. And they're going to do their proposals and submit it to the Boy Scouts to see if they will accept them as Eagle Scout projects, which is very exciting.
Now, have we taken down the trees we were looking at that one time you were out there?
No, they have not come down. As we currently don't have a tree guy under contract. The guy that we had before has retired and moved on to a different profession. And link went out, but his proposal for a tree guy had to have all sorts of extra stuff. They had to be able to work within wires, and the price quote that came back was very high. They didn't email me their information, and Link asked if I could just take out some of the stuff that they required and maybe rebid it to see if we could get a better price. I just haven't had time to do it, so hopefully we'll.
Yeah, because there wasn't many trees out there. It was just a couple.
Right, but we need trees down in Island
Yeah.
Pond. We need some down in, I think, Mount Pleasant, right?
The tree list is growing exponentially
Yeah, so
as time goes on.
that's something I have to work on in the next couple weeks. So.
Okay.
So I will get those out maybe next week.
That sounds good.
But those were the Boy Scouts stuff. We are looking at other projects as well. And I have a couple of AmeriCorps projects, which is the next thing on the, no, it's not the next thing, but, so I have Margaret, who's my new AmeriCorps member. She's going through, there's some trees in the back of the cemetery on Cranberry Ave that we want to clear out that area, so she's putting in an AmeriCorps project for that. We still waiting for, oh God, what's the name of the company? Blue Flax Design to go in and do some of the poison ivy removal that we already had put out to bid in the, or we accepted their proposal. They're just still slammed with everyone from there. Yeah. They're doing so much Japanese knotweed removal that we're next, but they haven't started. So I'll keep you posted on that.
Okay.
Anything else, Jim?
Well, the only thing that I would like you commissioners to think about moving forward is, this has always been a pet peeve of mine. The Children's Memorial, which you discussed in Island Pond, it looks like any other part of the cemetery. There's nothing to delineate it, making it, I mean, and these are, obviously infants and young children. I'd like to see, I mentioned it before, as possibly an Eagle Scout project for someone, something to make it look a little bit special. It doesn't have to be over the top with fountains and lights, but maybe something so it doesn't look like the neighbors to the left, front,
Right.
behind. And maybe if you guys are out and about in Island Pond and take a drive-by, maybe you guys have an idea of what you would like to see or what you feel would be appropriate, just to make it so that
Yeah.
when I have had individuals come and say, I hear there's a children's lot in here, where is it? And I give them directions, but there's nothing, not that it needs signage, but there's, aside from a stone with an angel on it, there's really nothing that makes it look any different than anything else. Just something that's been on my mind for a while. Maybe you guys, if you're out, you could think about something you may like to
Somebody
see.
to outline it a little bit better.
Yeah, that's really all it is. It's in a
Because
grovey
there's
area.
nothing really much to mow there, is there?
No, it's just wild grass, moss, sand.
So you
It's-
basically weed whack it if you had to do anything.
Yeah, really, pretty much.
We did plant 2 white lilacs and a couple shrubs on it last year with the AmeriCorps. But that being said, Jim's right. We could spruce it up a little bit more.
Really, that'd be nice.
Just a little something. It doesn't have to be sod or anything. Even if
Yeah.
it was a mulch area or a wood chip area with a little
I don't know if I
timber,
wanted. I don't know if
anything.
I
I'm
wanted
just
mulch.
throwing anything out,
Yeah.
something. I don't know that grass would fit in because the rest of it's kind of a grovey area, which is, kind of garbage.
Yeah, but we've taken down all the
So-
trees there, so I don't think it's grovey anymore.
Well, we consider it as one of the groves when we mow it. It's
Yeah.
not on a regular schedule. It's when it gets unsightly, we go in there, and maybe 4 or 5 times a year,
Right.
as opposed to weekly or every 2 weeks. So I don't know if grass would be fitting,
Right.
just have a rectangular box of grass, but something that,
How big is the area?
I'm just
Big as
gonna,
this room?
yeah,
Little bit.
probably,
Maybe a little bit
Roughly.
smaller.
roughly, and it's on a slope. It's not a steep slope, but a slope enough. Goes right down to the roadway.
It's a hill.
Some kind of low-growing plants or something, wait,
Like a
line
little
it.
hedgerow?
Well, the only thing is the markers are flat flush, so if we put in low-growing stuff, it'll overtake
Right.
the memorials.
All the markers are roughly the size
I
of
mean
a
like
piece of paper.
Some sort of plant that
Yeah.
doesn't get too big.
Right.
Some kind of little things.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're dwarf something rather.
There's
Could put in
dwarf
there.
boxwoods and there's dwarf azaleas.
We did
and
put
all sorts
in,
of
I
like
think
that.
we did put in 2 boxwoods on either side of the angel.
You can also put just a low fence that runs around.
Yeah.
No, we don't have fencing's prohibited in the cemeteries. We cannot put fencing. We prohibited it for everyone else. We cannot
Right.
put a
No, but
fence
even
in.
if it's to delineate a whole area, section.
No fencing, no curbing.
Really? So that basically, the people who have enclosures, that's just grandfathered in, nobody could ever do
Yeah.
that moving forward?
Yeah,
Okay.
they can't. For you, for maintenance. So we told everyone,
Okay.
no curbing, no fencing.
Okay.
We can go out and look at it at some point and figure out. what we can
Preferably
do.
warmer days so Cindy
Yeah.
doesn't get really cold.
Yeah, and I'm actually fighting off a cold, so I prefer not to do it either.
So next month we can go out and visit all these cemeteries and look at the rest of the shenanigans we got going on.
Okay,
That's everything on my mind.
I think so.
Is that everything?
Well,
Well,
everything at the moment. I may think of something in the parking lot.
And come back in.
Yeah. So is there anything else I can do for you fine folks?
No, I think that's good.
All right. Nice to see you all. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Thanks for coming in, Jay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
So, we had a letter from the Board of Selectmen talking about the end of the year report, which I started. You guys should all have one of these.
Is that the one I sent yesterday?
Yep. So I just
I haven't had a
started,
chance to look it over.
divided it into different little sections. One I just wrote Evergreen CPC article, and so we have the East Harwich Union Cemetery, then we had the Veterans Memorial section. I mean, we got a lot accomplished this year. I talked a lot, maybe I talked too much about the veterans, or do you guys wanna leave that in there?
Well, I rewrote it.
Okay, do you think it's too much, or do you think we should leave it? I mean, I think it's
Well,
important.
first of all, this doesn't have to be read in its entirety.
No, this goes in the book.
Good, I go on the book.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then,
Whoever wants to read it.
Yep, then the Evergreen mapping, and then the North Harwich Cemetery. North Harwich, we've done, I don't know if you know Steve and Kim Gonzalez. they've done an amazing job in their cleaning, and which has been unbelievable. And now they're doing the Kelly Cemetery, so they've done a great job.
They're headed to Florida soon.
Yeah, they are.
I saw them.
They
I saw
told
them
me.
the other day.
Yeah, and then we talked about the Bank Street Cemetery, and I also put in that we have that huge American elm at the entrance. Cindy, it should be at the end of all, yeah.
I've totally lost control of my packet here, so.
It was under the packet, so it's probably under there, yeah,
I'm sure my packet's all mixed up by now.
Oh, here it is, yeah.
yeah. So I don't know if you guys wanna read this over and digest a little bit of it, and then come back if you think we have
Well,
any,
how much time do we have? Isn't it January something? Yeah, that's in the packet. I read that this morning.
January 5th.
Okay, well, today's the
Okay,
14th.
all right, maybe we better finish it. Okay, should we go down,
Yeah, we can cruise through it quickly.
yeah,
All right, so the top thing, the yellow, you have to fill that in.
right,
We can't do that.
right,
So everything, I mean, even if we forgot something,
yeah,
this shows
Yeah.
an above and beyond year.
I know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Was there something that was left out?
No, I didn't, let me just make sure, we did I put in the rules and regs? Yeah,
Yep, oh, that's
Rules
in the
and regs.
beginning, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I rewrote that paragraph.
yeah, and then,
Some
we,
of these, and then I reformatted. Okay, yeah, that's a.
should we go over Focus 2024?
Yeah, so I highlighted that in yellow and then I put those asterisks and question marks, because that's,
Okay.
what are we working on?
Should we write something about the Eagle Scout projects? That we're working with the Eagle Scouts?
Yeah, so
Yeah, I would just submit.
Eagle 1, you wanna do this, Robin? Since you have all that stuff, Eagle 2 would be the first two.
Yeah, so I can put in both the names of the two Eagle Scouts that we're working
Yeah, and the
with?
project, and
And the
just-
projects.
Yeah, and just the general description, installing this, installing that.
Okay, so what we have is
So
the
we-
completion of the hardscape at Veterans Memorial Circle.
Yep.
Commencement of phase 2 of the Veterans Memorial by establishing the Walk of Remembrance. I actually brought all of the stuff from when I did research before about stamped concrete, so you guys can take a look at that. If you wanna go that way, it's a lot cheaper than pavers. And the installation, so the memorials. So I am still working on the research on all the memorials. I'm close.
All right, well,
We will be, Lynn came in and we went over a couple more people the other day. Actually, I found a whole bunch of new people that were, not new people, but existing ones that we had on the list that are of this Native American tribe that served. So I'm trying to divide them out by their tribe and their, one of them after the war was then sold to somebody else to work on his thing. So, I mean, some of the stories that I'm finding are a little disturbing, to say the least.
Really?
It's a lot of material, and I just want to make sure I'm spelling everyone's name right. One guy was captured and brought back to England, and then I have no record of him after that. So I don't know if he died over in England or what happened. He's still going on the memorial by, we have nothing on him after that. But so it's turned into a little bit of a, trying to find out where they're all buried and making sure they're all the right spellings. And we have two William Eldridges. One was younger and one was older. They're not father and son. One's with an I and one's with an E. So
those Eldridges.
those
Drive me
Eldridges.
crazy.
Dang Eldridges. For a lot of work.
Especially the E's.
Especially
It's like the Thompsons with a P,
Yeah.
without a P, with an
Anyways,
H, without an H.
so it's still a lot of work. And then afterwards, I do get a volunteer each year from the, kind of like they're working off their taxes. So I'm gonna have that volunteer, the next one I get, start scanning in all of those documents for me. So they'll scan them in and label them so that they'll be searchable afterwards. So we'll do them in blocks of like all the A's, all the B's, all the C's, because we can't do each individual one, it'll take forever. But anyways, so, website improvements, right? To, help with our visitors.
So we're still doing the brochure thing, right?
Brochure, yeah.
All right, so the first two down here with the question marks
Yeah,
are Eagle 1 and Eagle 2.
okay.
And those need to go up above end of course. And actually below those, so the four things that I've just
Yeah.
sketched down here,
We
Eagle
can
1,
go.
Eagle 2,
Yeah, we can go back and forth, me and you.
preservation of Harding Ryder Cemetery. Okay. And then what was the Bell's Neck thing? What cemetery are we talking about?
That's the Smith Cemetery, that's,
Smith Cemetery.
which is, it's,
Behind the
Well,
guns.
I'm going, what Bell's Neck Cemetery?
so that-
That's
so-
falling back on my new guy thing. I'm
yeah,
going,
yeah.
Yeah, I was
So-
trying to think if it was down the other Bell's Neck Road.
Yeah.
No, no.
It's Bell's Neck Road going the other way.
So that's Eagle Scout too.
And that's, right, that's Eagle 2, okay. Smith family. All right, so we have three things.
Yep.
So those three things right there need to go up above.
So what do you
the
have?
Of course.
What do you have?
Eagle 1, Eagle 2.
What is
Yeah.
Eagle
What was
1
Eagle
doing?
1 is what?
Eagle 1 is Hawk's Nest,
Hawk's Nest.
also known as Ebenezer Eldridge.
Eagle 2 is the Smith family.
Mhm.
Then the third one is preservation of the Harding Ryder Cemetery.
Okay.
So those three things, actually anything else that comes up, go directly below website improvements. Because the last two paragraphs are kind of written as a
Okay.
closure,
Yeah.
conclusion.
Okay. Perfect.
And it's just, I mean, really, we're just showing what we're, stuff is gonna come up.
Yeah. But I mean, it was a busy year. What I did
Very
was,
busy.
I went through all of the minutes of all the meetings, and that's how I got all this stuff. So I was like, whoa, we were busy.
Right, so Robin, I'd like to see this finished up and then emailed to us.
Yep,
And, I mean, we're
Say
not supposed
yay
to
or nay.
discuss, but yeah, just a yay or nay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's close enough right now that
Yeah.
you're just gonna throw in three paragraphs.
Three paragraphs and let it
And
go, otherwise.
Cindy and I can wordsmith any additions real quick and,
yeah,
I gotta get a new word processor for a computer license
Okay.
and ran out.
okay.
all right, so that's,
When I was doing all my bills, I couldn't print a thing.
All right, so what we did talk about the children's lot, so, we forgot to bring up this one children's stone that we missed when we did the original, markers for the children's section. So the baby girl West Stone, to do another 14 by 8 by 4, which is what the granite stones that we have currently in there, so it'll match. For the stone to make it is $500, and the installation's $50, so it's $550. Does anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to
Where's
prepare
our
a
vote?
stone for the
okay,
child.
I'll second.
Did we have to vote on projects for the scouts?
I don't think so. We're not, we will when I get you the price quote for the,
Okay.
how much the stuff is. Okay. It's kinda nice when the stuff goes away.
Yeah, it'll probably get smaller.
Are we,
From AmeriCorps,
Okay, so,
service project for February.
yeah, so that's what we briefly touched on, so Margaret is looking at different ones. We have an American beech tree, which is on the back of, Cranberry Ave, that's completely overgrown all around it, and it's our only American beech that lasted from the tornado. So we're gonna make a pathway, like, we're gonna put mulch chips down, and we're gonna clear it all out. We went down, there was 3 trees, one had fallen on it, so I had Pete go in and cut that up for Margaret, and then they took that tree away, and then me and Margaret went down another day and tried to clean up a little bit, and we brought some mulch and we trimmed up the beech tree that's back there, just so we could get to it, but, we're gonna put in today with AmeriCorps to do a whole area, cause it's a kind of a big section, it's probably 3 times the size of this room, maybe 4 times, that is around this tree that is just trees down everywhere, it has never been taken care of or mowed. But as you go before it, it's got all poison ivy. So, right now it's not, hold on. So right now we just poured mulch on top of it so we could walk over it so that we could clean it all up. But we are waiting for Blue Flax Design they're gonna remove it all. So
Do we have an American chestnut in there?
we do not, and that's on our list to
Because they've been
purchase.
genetically
Yeah,
updated
yeah,
to fight off what killed them all off.
yeah.
And everybody's starting to plant them everywhere, so it wouldn't hurt to. That's
I
an
have
original tree.
I have the amount that we still have in our tree fund, which is
Okay.
pretty hefty. It's in the notes, but when we get to that, we'll talk about that. Okay.
Service projects, the flagpole bill.
Yeah, didn't we approve that online?
No, we approved 2 other things. So the flagpole bill, bring that up, flagpoles. So I have, the flagpole bill is higher than it initially was. So I went back to pull when we originally quoted it, which was 2020. So obviously, it did go up. So when we originally did the price quotes from them, I wanted to find all the original material. So the original material was 2020. And when I talked to her, she said that the price quote could potentially change. But she never sent me anything that's saying it was gonna potentially change. So that being said, it is more money than we originally voted. So I think we have to.
Get that?
Hold on, I'm looking for the bill. Smith. Hold on a second. The bill should be, is the bill in?
Excuse me, could I take that, just show them and bring it back to you?
Sure,
Oh, great,
absolutely.
that might be.
Okay, it's already approved. That's already done. Wait. What's next? Do I have a folder here that says bills?
I didn't see it.
Here it is. So the bill is, so the CPC awarded us. I think it was like $16,000. And the difference is that the new price is 19. Now we could pay for that out of the cemetery revolving account, which we have still, I believe, $40-something thousand to spend this fiscal year out of that account. So that it's an overage, which we can definitely pay because we can afford it. But I just wanted to be upfront so that you guys all know there's a difference.
So why is that the flagpole's not under encumbered?
Because it comes out of a CPC article, it's not encumbered out of our cemetery revolving.
Oh, okay.
So,
I move that we need to pay it.
Yeah.
So when I move, since we have money available from the revolving account this current fiscal year,
okay,
I move that we pay the bill.
I'll
Okay.
second it.
I agree.
seconds. Unanimous. Pay the difference out of the revolving account.
Yes.
And we do love the CPC and they've done great things for us. I'm just gonna put that on this bill thing here right now so I don't forget it. And this would be. And that'll have 2 account numbers for us. So I'll have to stamp this twice, but the total number's in there for you guys. Okay, so that's bill.
from Cindy on that.
Yes, Cindy sent a thing, and I just wanted to include in the packet, so if anyone hadn't seen, which was just the Cape Cod Chronicle article with all the photos, which they did an amazing job covering the story, which I thought was great.
Steve's thing was amazing.
Steve, yeah.
The aerial
The
to music, that was nice.
Yeah, so I have to say I've gotten so much feedback by so many people who were able to attend. I go to church and people still come up to me and, that was amazing. I can't believe how, and then I got to see Pee Wee, that was even more special, but it was just great. I don't think we could have, even Judy Ford called me a couple days ago to talk to me about her mother participated, who was 100, and she just said it was great. She goes, a little cold, but the wind was perfect and the flags flew perfectly. I can't say enough about how pleased I am. I mean, Rob did an amazing job.
Yes, you did.
I
It's
was.
funny, I only hear what I messed up. But thank
Oh,
you.
No,
you didn't mess up anything.
Oh, I messed up 2 things.
Okay, but it was, so what people keep saying to me is, what are you gonna do? How can you top that for next year? I said, well,
It
next,
doesn't have to be topped.
I said,
It's
well,
a
first,
different ceremony.
yeah, I said, well, next year, we'll have the, benches and the walkway should be done. So, I do have another person that's interested in another one of the benches as well. So we have,
You know what should be with when you dedicate those?
yeah,
Not a reenactment, but in uniform actors.
yeah,
I know my good friend's son does Civil War stuff.
right.
He's very into that. He's got the full uniform and
Right.
everything. He's a pastor, and I'm sure we can find
So
four each.
I did have
Yeah, Steve
four
Parker's
different,
wife does all those reenactment
Yeah.
things.
and 4 people did come up to me and at the ceremony asked me about the American Revolution in the Civil War memorials. And one of them is in a band that is Civil War, and they only play Civil War authentic instruments. And they wanted to be on the list because they want to be able to participate in that event. So, which is kind of nice. So I do have a spreadsheet going that has everything from the price quotes I got for the restrooms to like every single person that we contacted with, and like the band and the a cappella group and their contacts and their phone numbers and all that stuff, so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel next year. So, I mean, there's a lot of work this year, but I think it's gonna be great to have all that stuff.
And you build momentum on this one, because this is where we really need the fundraising.
Yeah,
So that's why I think, and I wanted to do it that day, the 11th,
yeah,
but I think we need the golden shovel ceremony
right,
before the bobcat starts scraping dirt. You get everybody that's got some moxie around here.
Yep.
Say, here's a shovel, big photo op, everybody gets excited, and then
yeah.
Go to town.
and then the Gravely comes out and starts, yeah.
Do we have that? We don't have. We could go out and lay that out, though, right? The walk. Where we put it.
I mean, everything that we just went through,
Yeah,
this is our taking a deep breath, and in January, we gotta start all over again with,
right,
we need this done, we need this done, we need this done. I
Right.
still think we need somebody that can do the
So I did-
pastel sketch.
An artist
of
rendering.
Standing behind the flag circle, looking down the Walk of Remembrance with
Yeah.
2 monuments there, a mom holding a kid's hand, walking down
Yeah.
just so you can, this is what the start of it is, and it's gonna go through 2020
yeah,
eventually, and then hopefully it needs to keep going,
right.
hopefully for at least another 100+ years,
No, I won't be here then.
if we live through
Yeah.
another 100 and some,
Yeah,
if society survives it.
so,
That's going down the wrong path.
I'm really very excited about, I couldn't ask. There was so many great people that were involved that helped
yeah.
out, and I mean,
No, you pulled
if-
it all together, it was good.
I mean, I was so nervous all the way up till the week before. I was like, please just let this be. Which was
You
kind of,
got perfect weather,
I know, I thought the weather was great.
perfect sky, blue sky, puffy cumulus clouds, and a breeze to
So-
say, stand out straight.
So the other thing is they're gonna ask for photos for submission for the annual book, and I kind of wanna
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
see if we could get a photo together. So if you guys have a photo that you think is a great photo that we could submit, I mean, I almost
Can't
want to
you do
even
a
go
s-
through these ones. These
I
ones.
would think a screenshot off of Steve's video,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, that might be good. I mean, he's got, I would ask him, I bet he's pretty
He's
cool
home right now.
guy.
He has COVID too.
Ugh. Well, I tell you, when my wife works, they're dropping like flies. Anybody that sounds like you, I sit over here.
Yeah.
You know, I walked in.
I'm just very congested. Anyway, so I did meet I went to the 208 for their Christmas open house or whatever they had. I think it was last week.
Yeah, that
The
whole
previous
Christmas
week.
stroll thing.
And it was amazing. And I walked and I spoke to a lot of artists there. And I did get a couple cards from people.
Yeah.
And so Margaret's going to help me reach out to some of them and see if we can get.
I mean, I don't wanna pay for this, it should
Yeah.
be somebody that's into this as well, that
Right.
says, oh, I can whip that up for you real quick, you know. Like I
Yep.
said, I can't draw a straight line with a ruler, so
Okay.
it's,
So hopefully we'll be able to find the artists that we normally deal with over there. They sketch all the leaves for us for free anyways. So it would be something similar to that.
Yeah, just ask them.
Yeah.
it's just something so we can show what's coming
Right.
and just to help with fundraising, it's like, 'cause
Yep.
this is gonna get pricey.
Okay. So I just want to finish out the correspondence from Town Hall. We did get also a letter from Kathy Green about the CPC kind of wants people to have signage on that say that this was a CPC article.
Yeah.
But
Temporary, permanent,
like a temporary sign that you
like
could
the
put up.
political, you know,
Yeah.
vote for me signs?
Yeah, kind of like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
We got one by Brooks Academy.
Yeah.
Oh, they do? Yeah.
CPC signs. stuck
Usually
right in
trying
the
not to
corner.
get hit going by Brooks Academy.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's
It's right on the corner, you can't miss it.
so anyway, so she wanted to know if they could do some for the
Absolutely,
cemetery.
absolutely.
So the only thing is that I think it would be okay appropriate at some of the things. So say if we wanted to put one that was at the Veterans Memorial Circle, we could put one in there. I think that would be okay. I don't know that I would really want, or I don't know how people would feel if we put one. So we did one a while ago at Mount Pleasant and stick a sign there. I think people who are going to a funeral and stuff, they might not like it if we had signs up. I don't mind putting it up when we first do a project. I don't know how you feel about it. I think they did, and they're gonna be engraved on the stone that says, the Revolutionary Wars. We're gonna have anyone that gave a large donation amount engraved on the back, so that'll be actually engraved in the stone.
Oh, I wouldn't mind having an engraved step permanently in the walkway acknowledging the efforts of the Community
Yeah.
Preservation Committee, not CPC, Community Preservation Committee of
Yeah,
Harwich.
yeah.
You know,
So I think that is definitely appropriate for a cemetery, and I think that in where the flags are currently right now, I wouldn't mind, putting it up
Yeah, I mean,
temporarily. I just don't think it should be something that, I think, I know that there's one at the library, and I think that's okay at the library, but I think when people come to a funeral, they don't want,
You don't wanna see it.
when people put up signs that are at North Streets, on
Yeah.
North Harwich,
Sounds right.
people complain to me. They're like, there was a sign for a whatever
yeah.
at the cemetery. We don't want signs at the cemetery. So I
I'm
think
sure
that
it'll
some
be
people do
tastefully done
complain.
by them too.
yeah. So I think that it's a good thing. I think people should know. I mean, they've done great things for us.
So let the process take care of itself.
Yeah,
Put them out, say, sure, absolutely, we're happy to do that.
yeah.
And then.
And then,
if
so do we put them
compla-
out for a time period, or how does it work?
Just put them out there, and I think if people say stuff, weather will wear them out. And
Yeah, okay,
if they get damaged by the plows, oh, sorry.
yeah.
I mean,
they
we can
could- they-
replace them at that point.
And I
then
think it's
people-
great for them so that people around town see exactly what
Oh,
they're
absolutely,
doing.
yeah.
So I think
Right.
it's a good thing.
And that step you were talking about, where would you put that? In the walkway? The beginning of the walkway?
The beginning of the
I would
walkway.
put it somewhere in the walkway,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the
Again,
beginning
this
should
is
be
all
the
part of
founding
the-
of the town, and then as
Could
you
that be
issue.
incorporated into the veteran circle in the middle if we get all the hardscape done? Just
Good.
as-
Sure.
Or somebody just,
I just
Not-
don't know where we
not-
are with what's going down.
not
for
front and
Harwich,
center, but-
Yeah.
Well, it could be at this, where you would leave the circle to go across the street to the, again, it's a January discussion when we don't have a gazillion things.
Yeah.
gazillion.
Yeah,
So,
if I told you once, I told you a gazillion times, quit exaggerating. Other business?
Old business, Veterans Memorial Circle, hardscape and benches.
Yeah.
And then we talked about that a little
Yeah,
bit.
we talked about that.
And then the roadway entrance name.
Oh,
So,
don't you think it'd be a good, this is my idea, don't you think we should name the Route 39 entrance?
yes,
a
and I
school?
did talk to,
Well, I saw your email request, but she didn't answer.
she did.
Oh, she did?
She did. I put it in your packet afterwards. So, in the packet,
Is that this?
yeah, Shayla. So I sent her this. I
Yeah.
sent this over to Shayla, and she sent me back. So there should be this in there now.
So how do you do it?
So she says the procedure is as follows. Either you or somebody from the cemetery commission will have to write a formal request to name the road similar to what you sent to me. That 3 choices of names. I called
3 choices of names?
well, in case one of them's taken, but I already called Chris Nickerson and he says it's not taken. So, Veterans Memorial Drive is what we want to call it, right?
And that will go from that entrance
So if
all
you
the way
look at
through the old cemetery?
all the way through, the whole thing will be Veterans Memorial Drive.
Well, there's nothing wrong with Veterans Memorial Circle either.
Yeah, either or, so
Yeah.
we could do both, so we could write down 3 right now, so what do you want?
Veterans
Veterans,
Memorial Drive, Veterans Memorial Circle, Veterans Memorial Avenue. I mean, what's the holdup? Is it the,
no, it's just to make sure,
is it
no,
the
it's,
last 3 letters?
no, it's just to see
It's little
if
things that drive
something's
you nuts,
already,
isn't it?
so if you put in, I wanted to name it Kelly Street, there's already Kelly Street.
Right.
They just have to verify, and they go through it with the, police and fire,
Mhm.
because then it has its own coordinates for the town. So if somebody called and said, I'm on Veterans Memorial Drive, and the person in this car just had a heart attack, they know where it is and they can find these
Right.
people.
Unlike
So-
Depot Street.
Well, and I just wanted it registered with Google, and
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out how to do that, and I
Right.
don't know how to do it.
So those
You
are the
gotta sit
3
there and
names, and
pin it or
I
something.
can submit
Yeah.
that to them, and we just have to go on their agenda.
But
and
do we
they-
wanna call it Veterans Memorial?
I
or
think so.
Veterans Drive, or Veterans?
I
Veterans
think,
Memorial
I think
Drive.
it should be Veterans Memorial, because all of the memorials are gonna be on it.
Okay.
That's fine.
Veterans Memorial something. I mean,
Yeah.
I would vote for circle first because it is a
Okay.
circle at the end. But it's not really a circle.
That's
Yeah.
not really
It's
at
a
the end.
drive.
So, yeah, but it takes you to Veterans Memorial Circle.
Yeah.
So that's where, but it takes you to the Veterans Memorial, which just happens to have a roundabout in the middle of it. So I'm happy with any of them. I just think
So
by
which-
labeling the street, it,
Yeah, so you want circle is number 1?
well, I really, thinking about it, I really.
What do you
don't care.
guys?
Either one's fine.
I like the Memorial Drive.
Veterans Memorial Drive. Yeah,
Okay.
I like
Alright.
that. I do like that, yeah.
2, 3. So I'm just gonna give them these 1, 2, 3s.
Yeah.
So this is what we want. So I will do this.
Right.
Are we doing a sign? And I say this because, yes, I've lived in Harwich since 1991, and I still drive by the cemetery. Or I turn into the housing development before that. Just- I've now learned, but Do we want a Harwich cemetery evergreen cemetery sign at that entrance too?
So we already have the pillars, we have the stone walls
They're
that say,
plaque, there's
You don't
plaques
see
of the
the,
stones.
you don't see the stone walls till you're there.
yeah.
I mean, they're beautiful. I
Yeah.
like that. I just,
They
you
need
just
to be
don't see it.
landscaped.
So I actually have all that stuff in here for another evergreen, if we
You're
want.
doing the other one, the
No, no.
entrance.
I actually have a price quotes from her about repairing the sign, the evergreen sign.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's in here.
It's gonna cost us to repair it?
So, so it's worn,
It's a
but
redo.
it's worn out, so this she can just clean it, polish it, and put it back up. I had them take it down, cause I had to take
Are
it
we
down.
there yet? So we don't get.
No,
Okay.
but, so we'll finish this and we'll move on.
Yep.
Okay, wanna do the budget real quick?
Oh, wait,
Then we
where
got the
are
fee
we?
schedule.
So,
We just finished,
so we did the roadway entrance,
yeah,
Walk of Remembrance.
phase two, so we did C, and we're readdressing that in January.
yeah.
Probably every meeting after that.
And
Budget,
so what
Oh,
happened
so
to
do you
this?
wanna look at the concrete stuff?
Where'd this come? Where'd that go in there?
That's for budget. Okay,
Okay.
okay. So this, do you wanna just me give you an overview on the stamped concrete? So when I wanted to do the pet burial ground, I went and looked at stamped concrete. This is, I mean, and there's like a million different versions of stamped concrete you can get. These are all patents. You pick whichever patent you want. Like, it can be 2 colors, they can be 1 color. It doesn't really matter. That's just what they gave me, a rendering. But anyways, this was huge. It was a big area. And to do the whole thing,
what is that, what it was gonna look like?
yeah.
I've never seen that picture before.
Oh, because you weren't on the commission.
That whole
Yeah,
debacle went
you
by
missed
before
that.
you showed
Oh,
up.
that's the pet cemetery,
Yeah,
sorry, I thought that was the walk of
No, no, no,
remembrance.
no, no. So anyways, to do that one, whole one, and I think we wanted to do this pattern, which kind of looks like pavers, but they're not pavers. The price quote was 42,000, but it's probably 3 times the size of what we're looking at doing. I mean, it was big. So what I can do is, so he just took this, how much the square footage is. I'm gonna ask this guy to give us another quote for the next meeting, just so you guys have an idea. They can also do the hardscape around the current flags, rather than doing pavers, and they can make it look like red brick.
That's what I was gonna say, I've seen this in red brick.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, you're like, oh, that's not brick, wow.
Yeah, so you get up close and you wouldn't know it. The only thing is and Jim likes it better because it doesn't have,
Weeds.
there's no weeds that go in between. There's no, it really doesn't really crack and there's no unevenness. So it's completely flat, it's just like a,
How does it wear? Pretty soon, if a lot of people walk in, they're gonna wear out the
No.
brick pattern and get a rut in it.
no, it's concrete.
Yeah,
Well, I know that, but you wear concrete.
People only gonna walk on it, no one's driving on it.
yeah, I think, what's the volume of foot traffic we're gonna get, you know?
I'm
Yeah.
just putting it out there.
Yeah.
Because
No,
I've seen places
I
like
love
that, and it's
brainstorming.
all
I just-
worn
yeah.
off.
Yeah.
yeah,
So anyways, I'm just gonna
so the
reach.
more intricate the pattern, the more potential for wear.
Yeah, so I mean, they have tons of different designs, and there's a lot of people that do it
And is the
now.
price dependent on the design?
Yeah, it's a little bit more if you're gonna do 2 tones, if you wanna do, so if you wanna just do all brick,
Well, the brick one should be red and gray,
you could do,
stucco, or whatever you call it, you know.
The grout.
yeah,
Grout and brick, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're only coloring the rectangle,
yeah,
it's concrete's concrete, yeah.
I tried to look so it looks like blue flagstones all stuck together with the grout. It's almost the same color, and just
Yeah.
then it all blend in there as all the same colors.
Mm.
That'd be my preference. But
Yeah.
okay.
now we're on to the budget.
Yes, so, and I forgot to add something, so I am gonna add this in. One of the things we have to add into our expenses is, so if you guys wanna take this sheet,
Mhm.
that's that one. We need to add flags. So we have to purchase flags every year now.
every year?
Well, I think Jim, they get them every year at the, cause they wear out.
Sure. Well, yeah, let's, worst case, put that in the budget as a line item.
Yeah,
Yearly replacement of all flags.
okay,
And then in parentheses amongst the four of us, as needed.
okay. So the thing is if we do it every year and say we get a freak storm and they all get torn up and we have an extra area, we can
Right,
install them. So I think we should do them every year. And
So it'd be that set plus the one still at.
Correct.
Pond.
so we have that whole set in an Island Pond.
Is there one down in Harwich Port there? I'll think of the name of that cemetery in a minute, but
Mount Pleasant.
thank you.
Not pleasant, yeah.
So
There's
right
nothing
now,
down there?
so they used to be purchased all through the DPW, but they're telling me that they're not gonna be purchasing them, and I don't wanna put it in and taking out of the cemetery revolving. I think it should be a line item, so that, God forbid, when I retire, all this stuff, somebody doesn't sell lots. All of this stuff can still be maintained, cause this is stuff that will be expenses each
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
I also added, I increased the dues, subscription and travel by 5% and the office supplies by 5%. And the utilities, water utilities, because they've been over each time and we've been taking money out of. So if you look for the last, pretty much the amount of money that we used to get for dues and subscription and travel used to be $15,034. They reduced it in 2021.
1,500?
Yeah, it was 1,500. Then reduced it to 1,200 in 2021, 2022, 2023. So it's literally it went down. We're not even going back up to what it was pre-2020. You know what I mean? And then the water utilities have just increased every year. As more and more plantings go into Island Pond, or more people are planting or doing stuff in the other cemeteries, it's just increased every year. And the amount of water, the cost of the water has gone up every single time, and and we're not reflecting it each time. So I really think we should ask. The only thing they could do is probably say no, but I'm gonna put it in.
Well, all of this could be documented.
Right,
I mean, just the common things you buy from WB Mason.
right,
The price then, the price now, that's the increase, that's how much we're increasing the
Right.
budget. The water bill for pick a cemetery was this, now it's this.
right.
And actually, the water department should say our prices have gone up.
Well, they did.
X.
So they said that we should put in for an increase, so I did. The other thing is I'm putting in, because he told me to again, to put in for a part-time secretary. So I did, so that's the yellow line.
Good.
So, those are the things for the budget. So does anybody have anything else they think I should look at, or? I think that's good. I'm sure when we go in and I talk to him, he's probably gonna change some of those stuff, so that's it.
Well, in light of the fact that we have to redo the cemetery sign at Evergreen, is that something that's a revolving account item, or that's a maintenance function of our cemeteries?
I think
Where would it
once
go?
they're all finished, yeah, then that would probably,
Be the
with,
line
with
item.
all the signs. So I don't think, so the hardware that they were purchasing, and now it's a new vendor. So the guy who originally did it is retired, he no longer does it anymore, it's a new guy that's fixing the sign anyways. I don't know, they might say, no, that's gonna have to come out of your cemetery revolving, which is, they used to give me a budget for maintenance, and they took that away to give us the cemetery revolving, so I think they're gonna say
All right,
that that's.
So if that's the
yeah.
case, then no, just leave it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the cemetery revolving account, up-to-date numbers, should have been.
I know, I just had it in my hand, I don't know what to do.
I know, there's so much paper this week, I'm so sorry, I'm killing trees left and right.
Here it is.
Yep. Okay,
What page are we looking for?
just the one, it's stapled, this one. So if you go to the end, we took in, 25,650 in lot sales, 4,700 in administration fees, 1,875 in monument markouts. Total deposited into the revolving account was 32,225. We have spent 55,433 this year out of our 100 that we're allowed to. And the remaining balance that we actually have to expend after we pay for the Bank Street sign installation is 47,093.77.
That's good.
So we're not poor, but I'm gonna have to, I do have a lot of lot sales I'm gonna be making next week. I've had 4 different people call me that wanna purchase lots, I just haven't had, we just haven't had time to meet up, but, 2 of them are buying them for Christmas presents for people, which is kinda crazy, but.
I don't know what I feel about unwrapping that.
Was there a deposit of 1815 into perpetual care?
1815.
$1,815.
Oh, yeah, so that needs to be moved. So that needs to go into perpetual care.
It has not yet.
No.
And any tracking of the,
No, they still haven't closed out last year's numbers yet, so trying to get them to,
okay.
this is the.
So we're working on I right now, right?
And we
So-
did this Evergreen
Yeah,
Sign
I'm-
Cemetery hardware?
Yeah, hold on,
Yeah,
we
let's stick
still got,
with I a
we
minute.
still got more stuff on the budget. Sorry, guys. So I just wanna go over East Harwich Union Cemetery. I just gave you the breakout. That's been paid in full. It came down to exactly what they bid, which was 61,890. For Village Green, their final bill was 43,190. So there's 0 and left in that, so I can close out that CPC article. And then this is the tree replacement account fund, which is, we still have 27,496.49, which you were talking about, that chestnut tree, so. We are gonna be making a list of trees that we're gonna purchase. This is a warrant article that came out of after the tornado. The town, set aside these funds for us to buy.
Does this have to expire?
No, it doesn't expire.
Okay.
We have to spend it eventually. We
That-
will.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, who knows what,
Right,
I mean, if you listen to the news, who knows when the next tornado's coming?
Right.
You know, so
They don't even know.
throwing it away just to put trees out is,
no, but we wanna add more
We can use
trees.
that trees everywhere, we just have to concentrate.
I would
on the
like
trees
to, so in this, I'd like to get one of the chestnut trees, but I also think we should think about getting a tree for the children's section that would go behind maybe the memorial there.
Why couldn't we put, if you wanted to define the area, put matching trees on either back corner? And you could put a smaller on the front too, that would just give them an area.
Okay, so
We'd
what,
mark it out without putting.
what kind of
fence.
trees would you think about?
I don't know what's small.
Small trees?
Well, it wouldn't matter because it's wide open now. There was a million trees there, they're all gone.
I have to go see the area again. But
It's pretty
It's
big,
kind of a.
but it's on the
hill.
sloping on the hill, but there's
Yeah.
nothing on either side of
Well,
it that would
Top of
encroach.
the hill, a focus tree, like a weeping cherry.
Yeah.
So-
In each
that
corner,
too.
I'd do a match and set it on the back of each corner, so you know that's where this is, and we can
Sure.
put 2 smaller things in the front. Flowering tree would be nice, it'd look, be cherry. for
So a
kids.
weeping cherry would be flowering,
Mhm.
right?
And it's symbolic.
Yeah.
You could put 2 of those in the back.
Okay,
Yeah, that would be nice.
all right. I'll look
And
into
the
that.
front could be 2 other smaller, with the same basic color flower on it. Like a small azalea or a dwarf azalea that just mark,
Yeah,
it marks the 4 corners.
Or a
Then it's
holly. something, an evergreen type, doesn't lose its leaves.
Have green year round.
Yeah, some of the hollies do that. I've never been successful with hollies, but,
We have a lot of hollies.
I mean, the hollies I have, I get red berries and they're gone.
Yeah.
Like, where they go? But up in, I forget where we just were, down in North Carolina, they have their holly trees, have got big berries.
Yep.
And they're everywhere, very pretty.
Something like that, that stays kind of dwarfed by the road, so you keep it trimmed down and
Yeah.
let the trees get in the back and,
Yeah,
right.
So, we still, so last year, remember, in the packet, we talked about, increasing the fee, and we have to put that in our budget message. So I have to put in my budget
and
message.
this has to go to Joe or something,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, so that goes part of my budget, and then in the message that we're
Even though
increasing
this was already
fees.
approved by the selectmen,
What?
the fees?
The fees were not. This,
I thought they said yes, and then we
no,
had to wait.
no, they wouldn't vote on it. Joe wouldn't allow us to put it forward because it wasn't something that we put in our budget message. Me and Link both wanted to raise fees. Both of us had to wait till this year. So we have to put this in again and say we voted for it, but we had to wait for the new budget season to put this in, so. Please.
Does it need a letter? I mean, I don't know how to do it. Does it need a letter to go with it that explains the why? Supporting documents?
I do have the supporting documents from last time, which is the
Okay.
why, so.
Well, I mean, because like the Saturday by exception is highlighted, and the reason it goes up is, I mean, the underlying reason behind this is so that
It doesn't
it
cost
takes,
you any more money.
it's neutral cost to the town and the commission.
Right. Okay. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Okay, budget fee schedule, we have sign for Lothrop and hardware, Evergreen Hardware on the sign.
Okay.
Did you need to do this too, since we're doing money?
Oh, sure, we'll do that.
Are we going on that?
Okay.
That's the Rockland Trust packet.
So I was just surprised, I'm on page 5, I guess, it's a good place to be. I was surprised that the numbers hadn't changed, but that's because we had not made a deposit
Right.
from perpetual care. So the only thing I'll just point out, and that's on page, let me have you skip ahead to page 9. Well, two things. So on page 5,
Yep,
it looks like dividend and income was $903 for the quarter. This is a quarterly report.
yep.
And I'm just gonna counter this with the fees, $125 to manage this. I would do it for free.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, skip ahead to page 9. So Barbara, we had the conversation with her ages ago about keeping what I call Robin's money, spendable money, in a separate place, so it's not touched at all during their rebalancing. So there's 2 treasury portfolios listed. One is an income portfolio, one is a capital portfolio. I wish they were flip-flopped on the page, but so the capital portfolio is our cash portion of the portfolio. That's just part of their rebalancing. That's not touched. The income portion is the spendable money, which is the income that it generates that can be spent as needed
For repairs.
per rules, yeah. And that's grown to 11,887. But I think we had originally that was like 9,000 and something on the conference call that
Yeah.
we had with Barbara. So,
At least it's growing.
Yeah.
yeah, so, it is, so.
Better than what it was before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like no money.
Well, for the quarter, we put in 903, and it was 424. Well, I don't know quite how they came up with that number, but,
Yeah.
oh, I know, times 3. the percentage number doesn't quite work out, but. Well, that's still dividend and
Right.
interest income, and it is what it is, and
Yep. It's making money.
it is, yeah. Well, I mean, we made 900, but it cost us 125
Right.
in fees.
But what did we make when we were with
You were
nobody?
making .00, yeah, I don't
We
even.
made like $48.
Yeah.
I was,
So it's good, it's in a much better place, and now we just have to
right.
let it build up and use it as needed.
And sometimes you just gotta pay for it.
Yeah.
Okay, any other old business? Or we could.
Oh, no, it's signs.
Evergreen sign and a sign for Lothrop.
Right, so which one is this? This is evergreen. You guys have all the evergreen stuff.
Yep.
So she gave us like 3 different things. One is to do a brand new sign, which would be good to know if you want to do a brand new sign at the entrance. The second one is to refurbish, completely paint and gold leaf the sign, which would be $2,995. Or to just do a super clean and wax would be $1,256. So she's saying that, which I did not realize, seeing the signs that we have no ongoing maintenance of the signs should be maintained on a yearly basis and preferably twice a year, spring and fall. Below, see our website's directions on copy and paste for you. The maintenance is very important, and the hardware on the sign should be inspected and waxed and replaced when needed. All metal will rust eventually. So there's sign maintenance that we should have been doing all along with the signs, which I'm passing off to Jim, how to properly wash them. Anyways,
Why don't you just put stainless hardware on it?
it'll all eventually still, she
If you
said.
get good stainless, it won't.
Yeah.
Wrought iron,
They'll just rust.
yeah, eventually, yeah.
Right.
But that's a little bit of black paint to touch up wrought iron.
Yeah. Anyway, so I don't know what you guys want to do for the sign. And if you want to make another sign for the other side, we've got a lot of expenses coming up.
How
So
old
that's,
is that sign?
oh God, that sign's old. That was the very first sign we did.
Has it been that long?
Yes,
I was gonna
that's the original sign.
And how much further?
5 years, 10 years?
It's got to be way over 5 years.
I can't.
It is.
Really?
Yes, it's way
So
over
how
5
much would be
years.
to replace the whole sign?
5,390. But we're thinking about getting one for the other side.
Will she
That
make
would-
2 of them at a better price?
I doubt it. It's very, to do a wooden sign, it's just a lot of work. I mean, they carve the whole thing and the materials and stuff. It's expensive.
On
And
the
painting
CNC
it
machine.
so many times. I mean, I say we could just do a super cleaning and wax. It's $1,256 and then put it back up.
So it just seems like such a lot of money, but.
Yeah.
So why are they gold leafed?
That's just the, what the original commissioners picked out.
Where's the gold leafing?
It's
Inside the
around,
lettering?
no,
I don't read.
it's on the edge. It's gold.
Alright, so
I think
right
that was-
there is a cost saving.
Yeah.
Now, why don't you just paint
If
it
we
gold?
eliminate the gold leaf,
You just paint it gold or something.
Yeah, so this
Make it
would be, so this is,
yeah, or
so,
black, because that highlights the white and the green, but yeah, it's on the edge.
Yeah.
Are all the signs gold leafed?
yeah.
New ones?
Yeah.
What? I never noticed that.
So,
So, if you're not noticing it,
yeah,
It's
why,
not
why
worth
pay
spending.
for it?
Then it
so,
would go black, and every time we have to re-up those things, then paint the outside
It's a black enamel, just exterior black enamel.
So that was,
so what are you guys thinking for this?
then,
I'd wanna go look at the sign before I vote, just because.
Where is it anyway?
It's in her shop.
Okay.
They had to take it down.
so we can't see it.
I mean, is it me or is this maintenance program? I think I spend that on my cars.
So I mean, if you actually took care of them and the guys actually washed them down and cleaned them and put stuff on the sign, because they would last longer.
I would think they would put some sort of finish on them that would,
What?
I would think that they, when they made them, would put something on them to preserve them.
Well, they do put stuff on them, but I mean, this is Cape Cod, and let's face it, I mean, the weather here is brutal all winter long. So, I mean, it's wood, it's not plastic. If it was plastic, it would,
No, I'm just balking at the twice a year
yeah.
thing.
You don't have to, twice a year, they're just saying you gotta clean it, just wipe it down and put a little wax on it. That's what they're saying. You don't have to. And it could be part of Jim's maintenance stuff. They have all the signs.
I just took it, that they wanted a contract to do.
No, they don't want a contract, they want us to do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then I would have them deep clean the sign, make it look nice, and I wouldn't root gold leaf, I'd paint it the black around the edge and get a price on a new sign for the other entrance to match that with the black. And we'll start, as we go through the signs, we'll just put a black edge on it versus the gold leaf.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so does that sign need refurbishing, because it's one of the oldest?
It's the oldest sign.
So without the gold leaf, I'm sure that $29.95 is gonna be less.
I would assume so.
Okay, so,
Since gold is $2,000 an ounce right now. And 10
so,
years ago, 5 years ago, gold was $700-800 an ounce.
so what do you want me to say to her? So you guys wanna do the refurbished number or the super clean one?
Super clean.
Well, I'm just afraid that if it's already faded, the super clean's not gonna do diddly.
Right.
Is it still then faded green?
Yep. It's a little faded.
Then I would have her refurbish the sign by sanding it, repainting it, and
But don't do no
the
gold
carrot
leaf.
gold, just paint it
Black.
black. Black enamel around the
Well, they
edges.
don't poly these, huh?
I would have encased it in about 17,000 coats of lacquer.
And then give me a new quote for a new sign, the new evergreen sign, just so you guys
Yeah.
can vote on that at the next
Yeah.
meeting?
Yes, please, without gold leaf,
Without the gold leaf.
with either a white or black edge on it, doesn't matter.
Okay.
The only advantage of the black is then you don't get that greenish mold,
Algae on it.
the algae thing, yeah.
I'd go with the black.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing that I noticed was the streaks come down from the hardware.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
gonna
They do.
clean that all up, she'll
Right.
fix that. So they're gonna, the new guy, she brought him over to take a look at it, you know, he's the one who took it apart, he was like, this is not the hardware I would've used,
Right.
so.
So
We
and
can't
this new
blame
hardware,
him
right.
for something some other guy installed, so.
And can they upgrade the hardware? I don't see that listed.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to her about the hardware.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was looking at a different option, we were just talking about,
And Steve's got a good point.
right,
Why not lacquered or polyed or something for weatherproofing protection?
I think it is weatherproofed with whatever she puts on the top of it, but she just wants it to be cleaned. If it's not cleaned, no matter what you do to something, it's gonna get mold or stuff on it. You think it's gonna,
No, it's just why the green faded so badly.
oh, I don't
I
know.
mean, it may be ultralight going through the lacquer.
Yeah.
Usually if you lacquer something,
That's why you don't see many people say they're
Polymer.
green or dark blue, because they just fade right off the bat, no
Yeah.
matter what they got on it.
yeah, so we need more information on this.
Yeah.
So you want me to send her back an email?
Send her back email and tell her what we just discussed about that,
Okay,
and send us a new estimate on that.
new estimate.
I mean, you could,
And
for the
then-
super clean wax, you could say that won't do anything to restore the green,
Right.
Right,
or will it? I mean,
I don't know.
Unless they compound it first.
yeah, I mean, like, yeah, a car you would buff down, I don't know if you can do that with this.
And then all of a sudden you buff through the paint and you repaint the silly thing anyway.
All right, so we'll get that
Oh,
done.
sun's rays have faded the paint.
So when we originally bought them, did she say anything about cleaning them? And
I would have to look
I don't think.
at the minutes of the meetings from way back then, but I mean, Cindy, it was a long time ago. It was Paul Doan, you, and Will Remillard when we made those signs. We're on the committee. Cause
So you've
remember,
been on this commission for like
Well,
a long
yeah.
time.
well, Will Remillard is the one who picked the green, and he actually, it was a big debate, cause he wanted that color green.
Yeah.
And,
That's true.
I forget what he called it. He called it some car color. It was a specific color.
Well, the signs are really pretty.
They're
That's why I
beautiful.
was thinking of
And we spent like,
standardizing everywhere.
and we spent a ton of time on it. It was
Yeah, I like the
100%.
signs with the green, the color and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I would just change the gold leaf to black paint,
Okay.
be done with
And
it.
she mentions at the bottom, she says, you know, the O-links are horribly rusted, so the hardware needs to be done, and I just don't think that the deep clean, because of what she says up higher,
Yeah.
The deep clean's gonna do
oh,
anything.
if your sign has 23 karat gold leaf, oh my gosh, yeah, so. $2,000 an ounce, I mean,
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that costs now.
Yep. All right.
Yep, so,
We'll take that off. And it might change the whole price. You know what I mean?
yep, that's where
Well, a
I'm,
little bit, I'm sure. but
Yeah.
that if necessary, can approve it by email or
Right.
something like that.
And then we'll have to establish a program with, DPW or.
So she
We'll bring
did
that up to Jim in
also
January.
send me information. You gotta sign this one. You didn't sign. That side of it.
I signed it.
Oh, who didn't?
Steve.
Steve.
Is that Steve?
I signed it.
Oh, Cindy.
Cindy didn't sign it.
Because Steve signed the middle line, that's why it looks
Oh,
odd.
my name's on the middle and the front.
All right. So
You're the boss, you're supposed to be on top.
That doesn't happen at all.
she did make a sign for the Lothrop Cemetery, which I don't really care for. So I might want you guys to take a look at it.
Is that here?
No, she just sent it to
Can
me.
we get
So I'm
approval
gonna,
to stick it on there?
okay. So I just don't think Michael Locke will go for this. First of all, I don't want this. I don't think he'll go for that.
No.
I don't think we should do the gold leaf.
Nope.
And I think it should be,
Let's get rid of the AKA.
Yeah.
okay,
Just put a, this thing,
tilde.
a tilde.
So take this out.
Or some type of scroll, just to,
Yeah, okay. And then take this off.
Yep.
has this been run by,
No, but I mean,
HCG?
I'm not even gonna send this to him because he'll say no, absolutely not. I think because
why?
You don't want it
It's-
more flashy than the one that's
he
already
don't
there.
want it flashier than that. And this one, yeah,
So can it be shrunk up slightly too?
yeah. So I think it should be smaller.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's down near the same size as that. We just wanted a
It's bigger.
small.
It's bigger because she's bringing it right out to the edge.
yeah.
And this is not all the way out to the edge. This is bigger than their sign, which I don't think he'll
Yeah,
go
no, it's
for.
gonna be, I would prefer it to be smaller than that one.
And I think that this should be Mahedable Wixon. Shouldn't that be, I don't think we need cemetery twice, first of all.
We don't.
Do we need Lothrop on it even?
So
Is the actual
what is
name
it
of it?
really called?
It's called the Lothrop Cemetery,
All right, so Lothrop Cemetery.
AKA Mahedable Wixon. It is actually called that. But that's what it is in all of our literature, but it's the Lothrop Cemetery, but she's buried there.
So Mahedable Wixon, burial site, burial ground.
You pay for each letter, that's the thing.
Oh, jeez. Lothrop Cemetery.
Yeah, and if
That
you
don't
wanted
do it.
that, I would put that in like writing about that big. It doesn't need
Oh,
to
you can
be-
make this smaller. You can make Mahedable Wixon Burial Ground. Small.
It's a lot, it should be a lot
It's still paying
smaller.
for the letters, but
But is a big letter cheap, more expensive than a little letter?
I don't know.
We just don't want the sign that big, otherwise it's a huge sign.
Yeah, I mean, I would go for almost half that size. You know, it's just a quarter board going across the two posts. And why do we decide to not do our own sign?
They don't, so this is their property. This is HTC's property, so we just want to put a sign inside there.
Okay, so this will be more money. Lothrop Cemetery, just the quarter board sign,
Yeah.
and then back at the cemetery, the miniature sign, just like we're doing for Harding Rider.
Okay,
So that would be on a one post,
so you want to do one, that's just this.
yeah, and then back on a single post, like that size, that says everything that one does. Lothrop Cemetery with the swirly, and then Mehitable Wixon Burial Ground or burial
Yeah.
site or something.
Okay,
And that way it's
Small
polite to
appears-
them, it's not intrusive, it's just say, hey, this is where the cemetery is.
okay,
Do we need to explain how to get to it or
no,
follow trail?
they have a trail map
There you go,
right there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then,
Yeah, it's on the trail map.
so then maybe when you get the estimate to do Harding Rider,
Yeah,
just double it.
okay,
Or
Yeah, it'll be
Or
close to that.
do something for, yeah,
Okay.
and don't you think you just, even for Ryder, we only need like that big.
Yeah, it's not a very big
I mean,
sign.
cause again, at Harding Ryder, we don't want to attract attention because it's dangerous.
Yeah.
And at Mehitable Wixon, you already found it
yeah,
and it's right here. I
Yeah.
don't need a big sign
Right.
in front of me because it's
11 by
tiny.
16 is all
You know,
we
whatever,
need.
I'm just wagging it here by a couple of, yeah, I mean, if it's on a pole and you, I mean, but on this one, we could say established or whatever the date of her burial is, or I
Right.
don't know, something for the historian.
That's a good idea.
okay.
Now we gotta sign deeds, we sign the deeds, we gotta
Yeah.
sign bills.
Okay, so we did,
that
oh, the
everything?
dog signs, what,
Just how Jim put in, and there's a picture in your packet.
yeah,
So he did put in a sign already.
So do we
We
know
had
from
some, he already had some
so we
already,
don't need to buy any more?
No.
Okay,
it's already made.
did that, Evergreen, we talked
Sign-
about,
sign for
Lothrop,
Lothrop.
Lothrop, and then we're adding to Lothrop, Harding Rider. When it comes to doing minutes. Bank Street Cemetery sign is going in,
Yeah.
we have to go look at that
Yeah,
after we go potty. All right, I do have one old business, but we're not gonna talk about it today. The website drives me crazy. This is our website.
yep,
Steve, I love cracking Steve up. It's like, what?
It doesn't take much to drive you nuts.
It doesn't, it really doesn't. It's,
That'd be a fun hobby to get, just drive you crazy.
I can tell you, that got signed off by the town, anyway. So these things, this didn't print very well,
yeah,
but all of these menu items, it's become a shotgun pattern. It's just all over the place, and unless you know what you're looking for, and then on the different pages, they're different. You know, contact info and stuff.
So who's in charge of the websites?
so we give them content, we give Caleb content and he puts it up for us.
So
You really make.
You just
want
wanna
to make more-
organize it better.
I would like to organize it better so that when you go to cemeteries, I mean, the way we're doing this with the cemeteries, especially with software like
You're
at
right.
Island Pond and et cetera, instead of that having its own menu item, I think we should have like a cemetery tab that opens a new tab. So you don't lose your place where you are. Another tab opens up, and now it's cemeteries. And now you can find your cemetery. You either can have an active map or something. So instead of trying to figure this all out, maybe I could talk to Caleb, or, I mean, I'm sure he can do anything, but. And I'll come up.
Maybe we can have him come to the next meeting and just, we can ask
Well,
him
he's
about it.
normally here, but he's out.
Yeah, I know,
today.
but make
Yeah.
him
Yeah.
sit in front of the camera this time.
Yeah.
So can I maybe just kind of come up with a version,
Yep,
Yeah.
and then I'll
Please do.
try and run it by him? I'll sneak over and see him someday, or I'll bring it when I go to the gym or something.
Yeah.
And have him say, I can do this, I can't do that, because of the software they use. And then maybe
Oh,
in January,
no, I
we can
didn't.
vote on it.
Okay.
Okay?
Sounds good.
I didn't put the Eversource bill in here either, I'm just gonna put Eversource on here.
Been here all morning.
Is this a record for us? 2 hours?
Yes.
Even during the
Oh my
rules
goodness.
and regs?
All right, so, I don't have the total for Eversource, I think it's $30. So, we have Pine Grove Water, $482.66. ICCFA, which is just a subscription we get every year for its cremation things for all the rules for the United States, 110. Hamco Flags is $550. a majority of that's coming out of the CPC, the others coming out of revolving, and then Eversource, which is our water bill.
I didn't look on this report, you spelled my name right.
Did I?
I don't know. I've seen, it's come through spelt so many different ways, it's
Okay.
not funny anymore.
It's better if you change your last name like I did to Rob. Rob Chamberlain, I'm like, oh my God, I did that.
It's funny. I keep
so-
looking at the minutes and my name is spelled wrong in most of them.
So our next meeting will be when? Do you have your calendar?
Let's see here. So we're talking January, and are we doing a Thursday?
Yeah.
And first,
Be the January 4th, wouldn't it?
uh,
Or would you have recovered from New Year's by then?
Yeah, we will, which will be good though, because then we can have a final draft of what we're submitting to the Board of Selectmen, which
yeah,
is
the
due
day
on the 5th.
before. Okay,
think that's
so
good.
Thursday, January 4th,
Yep.
Yep. At 9.
Yeah, no.
Cemetery Commission, and Thursday, the 4th, 9 o'clock.
And
Not Town Hall, though, it's at,
Yeah. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
so moved.
We
Rob?
gotta make the motion first.
Oh, I'll make a motion.
Actually, do I have a motion? I
Cindy?
said so moved.
Yeah, I know.
Cindy's making a motion to adjourn at
Second.
11:11.
11.
Oh, how appropriate, considering our last project.
Okay, unanimous. You need to go over there and push that button that's next to the red.
Next to the red, or push the red one.
No,
Right.
next over, right there.